All right. So, what happened last time on Fire Emblem Tabletop? A bunch of stuff. Uh, Octavia was granted a new class by the king himself, King Klaus. Um, so now Octavia can dance. Um, let's see. Archibald had a lot of encounters, or had one encounter. He did have a lot of encounters, but he had a specific encounter with his old friend Beatrix, who offered him uh I guess a sample size of godhood, which he, I believe, intends to turn down. Um
Oh boy.
uh you guys got your new clothes. Oh yeah, you broke into Godfrey's room. Um what else happened? You
Boy.
shaved Gare a little bit. He'll live. Let's see what else happened.
He was such a good sport about it.
He was such a good sport about it. Okay. Oh, and then Edwin had a dream about a guy in his room who gave him a little pat on the head. And who had the other dream? I don't remember. Was it Val?
Octavia?
It was Octavia because
Octavia,
I rolled
excuse
real
me.
bad.
Excuse me. I forget after all these dreams. I'm like, I should start writing these down. Octavia had a dream in which she saw two guys just talking and then they left. Seems to have something to do with Gare because Gare's sword was present. Um, but yeah, other than that, kind of a low key session as far as sessions go. No one got maimed or anything. We can change that today though if we like. All right.
No, wait, hang on. You're forgetting.
What did I forget?
Gare's hair.
I said he got shaved. He didn't get shaved. He
No,
just got.
no, but no one got maimed except for his hair.
Oh yeah. Gare's like style got maimed, but that doesn't count, right?
Gare shaming.
Gare shaming. It's all right. He looks fine. He looks like a sprite now, which is
Oh
gonna
god.
gonna change eventually
Aw.
because these sprites are god awful. I'll get there when I get there.
All good.
It's gonna be
The
like the
purple
last session.
Amalthea.
Purple Amalthea. Oh my god, it's just everything is so bad. But yeah, it's gonna be the last session because I'm busy. All right, so it is the day of the feast. You guys are waking up. It seems that the first part of the day mostly seems to be, just getting food delivered to you via the servants and stuff. Uh, Getting your new clothes. Everyone gets their new clothes. And they seem to all fit pretty good. Like the tailors did a good job. But does anyone want to actually do anything before it's time for the feast itself to begin? Sort of a mid-afternoon situation. So you've got the whole morning to do stuff.
I feel like well, after the dream, I feel like if Gare's okay from getting a tummy ache last night.
Oh yeah, Gare had indigestion.
Yeah.
Key plot point.
He ate too much cheese.
He's a lactose intolerant, unfortunately.
Tolerant.
What?
So
Lactose intolerant, because whenever I hear lactose intolerant, that's the first thing I think of is that post about Dragonborn bosses being named things like lactose intolerant.
Lactose the intolerant? You say Dragonborn?
I said Dark Souls, I think.
No,
That's
you
what I meant
said
to say. I wanted to say
Dragonborn.
Dragonborn.
Dragonborn. So like D&D.
I meant to say Dark Souls.
Yeah, lactose the
Listen.
intolerant. That's Gare. But yeah. So does Octavia want to do something?
Yeah, Octavia is just gonna go by just based on what she saw in the dream. Just like a quick check-in, being like, we agreed to tell each other what happened if we had strange dreams, but are you okay with me sharing that?
Okay, so are you talking to Gare?
Yeah.
He kind of gives you like a weird look, like, uh, like what did you see? Like he doesn't really understand what you're asking him.
I think I saw the time when someone who I think is your father gave you his sword.
He kind of frowns at that. And he thinks about it a little bit and he says, "Yeah, I guess you could share that. It's not really a secret memory or anything."
Yeah, I don't know, it felt weird to share something. I know it's probably nothing, it felt weird to share unless you were okay with it.
Dwyer, you're typing so loud.
Sorry.
It's okay. But Gare thinks for a minute and then he like nods to himself. He says, I haven't really told anyone about it before, but I mean, he's long gone now, so why not?"
Okay. Then maybe after the party and actually yeah, because there was someone else he was talking to who was also oddly familiar to me.
What do you mean? I don't really
There
remember what any of his old friends used to look like, to be quite honest. It was gods decades and decades ago.
Yeah, I it was hard to see because it was dark and there was only firelight, but he looked a bit like Godfried.
Oh, well, that's not possible. He's not very old, I think.
No, not yeah, but not Godfrey. I mean, just looking at his face, it was familiar to me.
Huh.
I don't know what that means. I'm just it's weird.
Yeah, that is
Just
pretty weird.
okay. Well, there's probably not much time for us to all talk about as a group, but since everything's okay with you, maybe we'll have another dream meeting discussion later after the party.
Sounds good to me, but I don't know. I hear there's gonna be alcohol there, so maybe don't expect too much of a present audience.
uh how do you feel about alcohol, Gare? Can you handle it?
He gives you a look like a dad who's about to walk into a Home Depot.
I know more than you.
I know more than you. He's about to
Octavia just
build a
smiles.
metaphorical deck in front of that bar.
Octavia just smiles and she's like, okay, fair enough, fair enough.
Free liquor's free liquor. At least it better be free if we're invited to a party. I don't expect to pay.
He already gave us new clothes. I wouldn't expect us to pay him to pay. I wouldn't expect to make us pay for the liquor.
You don't know. But let's
Been
hope
to
you're right.
parties where they made you pay?
Do I look like someone who gets invited to parties? And then
I
he
mean,
thinks for a second, and then he gets kind of like a sad look on his face, and then he like quietly
oh no.
says to himself, like, "Have I been to parties?"
I mean, maybe not like a party like this, but I'm sure you've been to parties. Like you were with a group of bandits. You grew up like that. I'm sure you had plenty of parties.
I mean, you know, a good post-raid feast is a little bit different from a royal whatever, you know?
Yeah. I well, if it makes you less or I haven't really been to shindigs this big. Actually, I think I've only been to one other and I was working. So,
Oh? What kind of shindig?
uh it was at the Royal Palace of Arlis.
Hmm.
I was performing.
I see. That's pretty fancy. They'd let you drink there too?
Well, I conned someone to get me a bottle of the good stuff.
That's what you gotta do. Smart kid.
Yeah. Thanks.
Uh, and then he turns to the lump of clothes that's like on his bed, cause I assume you're like knocked on his door.
Mhm.
So he's like standing around, just kind of biding his time until it's time to get ready to go, which is quite soon. And he looks at the lump of clothes on his bed. He's unfolded everything. You can see scattered bits of like combat clothes mixed with very fine fabric, like party clothes, just kind of all rumpled together in a big ball. Uh, and he points it and he says, "I should probably sort that out before it's time to get going. Wouldn't want to make a bad impression. Then they'll make you pay."
I, well, we are here kind of sponsored by the Cane, so that's a good plan. See you in a bit.
I'd rather not end up in prison after all the effort we took to get out of being imprisoned.
Yeah. Yeah, let's never almost go to prison again. That sounds like a
I
good idea.
could not agree more.
Mm-hmm.
And then he turns around and he closes his door in preparation of getting ready, getting his shit on.
And Octavia also goes to her room to get ready.
All right, is anyone else meandering around, pestering?
I don't know what time of day it is in the game, but Archibald slept in because, well, he was up until like 4 in the morning or something.
Sleepo
Uh,
Beepo.
yeah. Uh, but I take a long sleep in the bed, wake up, clean off, do the hair uh, or whatever. God, you can see the me bleeding in through the character roleplay. But get dressed and then knock on Godfrey's door
Oh,
quietly.
Godfried answers almost immediately, like as if he was already up and around. Which, it's early afternoon. He probably
Hi,
was. Hello.
you you okay?
Fine. Why?
Uh, well, there's a lot of noises from your room yesterday, and you kind of missed the entire group discussion and dinner thing.
Oh, well, you don't need to worry about that. I was quite tired after fighting 2 battles in one day. So,
Uh-huh.
forgive me for dropping things within your hearing range.
Okay. Well, would you like to, I guess, hear the, I don't know, story of everything you missed yesterday?
He would like to
Uh,
hear what he missed yesterday. Yes.
so, I mean, Archibald, for expediency's sake, Archibald will go in and just sort of close the door behind him and just walk him through the whole, so I
As
won't
you
know if
enter
hanging with
his
my
room, he actually seems rather prickly about the fact that you've entered his room, but he doesn't say anything.
pause and look at him, just like, okay. Uh,
He looks back at you, also just kind of
but,
like, okay.
but we'll explain to him the whole saga of, Beatrix inviting Archibald to his room, going there, the discussions that were had about offers, among other things. And I'm watching, Archibald is watching when he's talking about the like blood pact stuff too, specifically watching his face. But
Mm-hmm.
that and the coming back and the tailor, who's probably, you know, like a thrall and maybe gay. And like, yeah. Oh, and the fact that the king is maybe a dragon, probably a dragon. Don't go throwing that around. But,
As you are explaining everything to him, specifically when you start talking about, blood drinking rituals, he gets kind of like a disgusted look on his face, like that's fucking nasty. And he
Oh.
he does agree, like you shouldn't do that. Never ever drink any sort of ritual blood sauce.
Yeah. Can I make an insight check for that
Sure.
conversation?
What are you specifically inciting?
He said you said he made a face like, ew, that's disgusting. Is it ew, blood, or is it been there, done that, bad idea?
Okay, go for it.
Natural one.
Natural one. He just kind of looks grossed out. Like, what do you want from him? You're talking about eating blood. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, no, it turned out actually, the conversation went better than I thought. She's significantly less murderous than I remember, which is nice.
so she's not going to try to throw us in jail anymore.
Well, I hope not. I still have to tell her that I'm not interested. Break it to her gently in a way that's not, gonna end up with her getting all pissed and everything. But she seemed weirdly, genuinely concerned for my well-being.
Huh. Well, you're friends, aren't you? So, or you were?
Ah, whoa, yeah. Childhood is weird. You know?
He makes like a face, like a nodding, like, yeah, so true. Haha.
Uh, yeah. Uh, we have a party to get ready for. Best not to get into it now, but like, shit's complicated. And there's a lot
Well,
of dying and there's a lot of deaths involved.
well,
Apparently.
try not to make her too angry during the dance. I'll hover near the doors in case we need to make a quick getaway.
Oh god, man. Come on. Just relax for a sec. I know that's ironic coming from me, but like, are you good?
Perfectly.
Really?
Why wouldn't I be?
Insight check.
Go for it.
Oh, let me guess. It's gonna be the nat one again. That is cocked. That's actually like,
Wait, can you tell me exactly what you're inciting again?
I'm fine, he said, like a liar.
Who says he was lying? Who says he was lying?
Me. That's the point. That's the insight check. 14.
14? Well, he certainly has the vibes of someone who's seen better days, but like, he's not, doesn't look like he's about to throw up on you, so like,
Hmm.
It might just be, weariness from traveling. Because you guys
Alright.
have traveled.
I got some stuff I want to talk to you about at some point after we're all out of this far away from here, basically. Not the time. Things are a bit busy right now. I don't want to introduce. Yeah. Well, we'll talk later. I'm gonna go get ready.
He gives you a suspicious look, but he does let you leave.
Oh, wow, if you phrase it like that, it sounds threatening.
Well, I didn't mean to make it sound right. He doesn't prevent you from leaving. He doesn't make you talk to him about whatever you're hanging over his head.
Yeah, all three of those still sound like
No,
threats.
I'm not
Okay, let's
trying to be
go.
threatening, I promise.
No, he wasn't going to prevent it. He wasn't going to stop you. He was just going to prevent you from leaving.
He's just
Eh?
gonna stand in front of the door. No,
That's
he's not doing that.
still
He's not doing that.
You're just repeating words for he's trying to trap you over and over.
No, he's not. He's explicitly not.
No,
He
I know.
lets you leave. No questions asked, except for, a little bit of a weird look like, what the hell could you possibly want to talk to me about that you couldn't say right now in this private room? But,
Oh boy, little
Oh.
does he know.
oh no.
That's me. I'm done. I
Alright.
talked too much last time.
What is Valente up to?
Sorry, I have burrito in my mouth.
No, that's so fair.
She is going to actually she's going to knock on Octavia's door
Uh-huh.
and she's going to say, I don't know how to how do I not look bad?
My beautiful, beautiful friend, you would never look bad.
Val chokes on his own spit and goes, "Thanks, but
But I understand what you mean. Do you want me to help you?
please."
Sure. And yeah. Of course.
I think this would be a good time because Octavia's gonna help Val get into it to show off Val's fancy outfit.
Oh yeah, drop it in the chat and I'll
Yes.
put it on the screen. Oh hell yeah!
Hell yes.
Is that
This
on
is-
the screen?
this-
I don't think that's on
Give
the
me a fucking second, Chapega. I swear
Oh.
to Christ.
This is based on all of the performing
Valente.
arts genealogy guys we got.
It's banging.
Hell yeah.
I figured that'd be a good place
I
to
love the
figure
hair
out what
ribbon.
fancy.
Oh my god.
Her ribbon's so good, and the rabbit is so good. Ah.
Anyways, the drip, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Alright,
And
so
But
oh no, you go.
No, but I would say like I would assume Valente already picked out a lot of this and had this thing, so all Octavia is doing is like helping a little bit with accents.
well, what happened is he asked for like a typical whatever Finbarian fancy outfit in these colors, and so it came. And so he looks at Octavia and goes, What order do they? I'm confused. There's a lot of things here."
Oh,
It do be
okay.
like that.
So let's separate them into different categories. So
Okay.
here are little accessories. We're just gonna put them over here. Here is your greatcoat. Ooh, it has double-breasted. Wow, that's nice. And the tassels, excellent. And basically, they just go through it, and Octavia sorts it out in different orders, so that way it's easy. Like, okay, you just go from here to here. Then it'll be fine. Let me know if you need help with the sash.
If I was like, I think I can tie a knot, but thank you. Yeah, the only other fancy clothes I've ever worn in my life that were even close to this expensive, and they weren't, it really wasn't, was my wedding dress. And that was one piece. I could put that on pretty easy. But
Mhm. It's hard. It's hard. Think about it like, well, you had to learn to put on your armor. That has multiple
yeah, okay.
pieces.
Yeah, I guess. This is more expensive than I think everything I've ever owned in my life combined.
Yeah, that's a lot. This is probably a lot. But just because it's a lot doesn't mean that you don't deserve it.
He, like, kind of, he snorts and he's like, yeah, I guess. Thanks for the help. I don't know. I feel like you're the best dresser in the group, so yeah.
Octavia is so flattered from that. Like, oh, thank you. I was worried for a sec because yesterday Gare commented on my color scheme choices, but thank you. But then again, it's Gare.
He has an asymmetrical jacket on. As much as I admire his appearance,
Uh-huh.
don't.
No, go on.
No. As much as that,
Mm-hmm.
even I know that his taste is eccentric.
Yes.
And I worked with a lot of Pegasus Knights, and their color schemes seemed to usually match yours more than they matched his. And I trust them with fashion more than I trust him. So,
That's fair.
anyway, I won't
Okay.
take up too much more of your time. I'll see you at
It's
the
not-
feast.
I'll see you at the feast.
All
No
right.
problem.
All right. And what is Edwin up to? Is Edwin up to anything other than put clothes on?
I think he probably, because he had a dream and he knows he's supposed to tell people when he has a dream, so he probably went looking for Archibald, but I would assume it's probably after Archibald. Well, because Archibald was sleeping in, and then he woke up and went and harassed Godfrey.
Oh, I
The
get really
daily pastime of
disappointed.
harassing Godfrey. Um,
This one wasn't
and then
harassment. This was normal.
every single time Godfrey gets talked to, he considers that harassment.
Oh, valid.
And then after that, probably Edwin goes looking for Archibald to see if he's actually awake by now.
So this is after the Godfrey thing?
Yes.
I mean, yeah, he's probably in his room.
Okay, so Edwin just knocks on his door.
I mean, he opens it up. And I guess the first thing that Edwin would notice, given the other party members, is that he's weirdly clean. Weirdly clean.
Like cleaner than yesterday when he also got clean?
Clean like cleaner than you've ever seen Archibald be. Which
Wow.
by
Damn.
Archibald's standards, you would not be able to I don't know. He's a normal level of human dirtiness, which is to say, like people are gross, but he's not like, coated in shit. And
Yeah.
also his hair is like it's like he bothered to brush it with his hand at least to the sides. It's not just a greasy mop anymore.
Archibald opens the door and Edwin like stares at him for a moment like that's not what he was expecting to see. And then remembers why he's here. And really quick is like, "Oh, I was just here to tell you I had another weird dream, but I didn't really know how to tell everyone, and I don't think it was that big of a deal, so just letting you know."
Kind of dream.
Oh, it was like I woke up in my bed and there was a guy there, um, and when he realized I was awake, he came over and like patted me on the head, I think, and then I woke up. It was kind of like the hallway ghost.
Is it just a normal person?
Yeah, he was just a guy. He was kind of big.
Oh,
I didn't really know who he was. It was dark in there.
wasn't just like memory or something of yours, like a parent or something, or
No, that's definitely not anyone I know.
huh? Well, you know what it felt like, I guess, but if that sounds like that could have been a normal dream, and if it wasn't, not that bad of a weird dream to have, I guess.
Yeah, see, it seemed a little silly to like make anyone worry about, but I thought I should at least tell someone.
No, that's honestly one of probably the least emotionally disturbing dream. Like that's a good night as far as dreams go for this group.
Yeah, it was pretty alright. So I'll leave you to figuring out your clothes because I gotta also figure out my clothes.
I mean, I'm basically dressed already, but yeah.
Oh, okay. I always imagine everyone's gonna dress up way fancier when people talk about palaces and stuff.
I mean, I've been there, done that. I'm not eh. I'm wearing he's just wearing like clothes that like it's clothes. It's like if I were standing in the back of a courtroom at a party, would I be like eyed up as like a fucking weird peasant? No. But it's like upper end of what a mercenary would wear to like a formal event. It's like coat and pants and stuff,
Yeah,
not yeah.
it's okay.
Yeah. So yeah. I'm kind of debating whether or not to go find Beatrix before the thing or talk to her after.
Do you think she's gonna get mad at you?
Uh, uh kind of a coin toss. Um I certainly hope not.
Well, I always think it's good to just get stuff out of the way so you don't have to worry about it. But if you think she's gonna be mad at you, then maybe it would be good to tell her right before we leave.
I hmm. Yeah, maybe after the party at least, because that put a damper on events potentially. Yeah. No, you're right.
Well, good luck.
Thanks. You too. With clothes or whatever you'd need luck with.
Thanks, yeah.
All right. Does anyone have anything else they want to get done before the feast? At all? Anything?
Mm-mm.
Okay. All right. So you guys all get ready to go. You can hear maybe like the courtyards outside, downstairs. There's people moving around, like servants moving around. So people are starting to drift towards the I guess the main hall where the event is taking place. It's maybe like 4 p.m. now, so the resident guests are probably beginning to arrive, and then the guests that live outside the palace will be here soon. Y'all heading down together, or y'all arriving fashionably late?
I will say once Octavia is ready, and again, she's just wearing the new dancer slash dreadfighter costume, but it's a pretty good dancer's costume.
Mm-hmm.
It's made of really nice materials, and she has taken her hair out of her usual ponytail, so it's just free flowing, freshly cleaned and oiled. It's really looking good.
Looking good.
And she knocks on Amalthea's door to see if she's ready and or she needs any help.
Amalthea's door swings open at incredible speeds to reveal Amalthea on the other side, who has, you would guess, been waiting for someone to knock on her door and say it's time to go to the party, because she's fully dressed and ready to roll. She's wearing, I'm gonna describe an outfit, and I guarantee you've all seen it before. Cheppy saw me draw it, so. You know when you were like 13, 12, maybe a little bit younger. And the dress that was in style was black. The bottom half was black, and then the top part would just be like sequins with spaghetti straps.
Uh-huh.
She's wearing one
Yes.
of those.
Excellent.
She's wearing the classic bar mitzvah party dress.
Excellent.
Love to hear it.
And she's
Love
she's
it.
got a new hairband too. It's like nice. It's silk and braided. And she's got new earrings. You can see that as well.
Yes.
And she looks very excited. I'm not gonna drop the image until we also get Gare in the picture, but she looks very excited to go to this
You
party.
look so good.
She jumps up and down a little bit, and then she says, "You look so good too.
Oh, thanks.
This is gonna be awesome.
It'll be so awesome.
I've never
Okay.
been to a fancy party before. I can't wait. Let's go now."
Okay, I think we're gonna go down together though. We just
Okay.
want to go down together. So, if you want, we can knock on someone else's door to see if they're ready.
Yes.
You pick.
Who's right next to her? I believe it's Valente, right?
Yeah.
Valente,
I
you've
think.
been summoned by a frantic knocking at your door. You'd think the castle was on fire.
Val has had a 6-year-old, so he knows what excited children do when they knock on doors. So he opens it, dressed, and smiles at Amalthea and says, "You look very wonderful."
She squeals in delight because she's so fucking hype about this dress. And then she actually jumps forward to hug you, and she says that you look very good too. But it's mostly just garbled noises.
Yeah, Val hugs her back all very tight and smiles. Probably like wider than he usually does. Like he's genuinely very excited about how excited she is. So
She says
Yeah.
as she finally lets go of you, she says that she could barely sleep last night, and not because she was having weird dreams or anything, but because she couldn't stop thinking about party, all capital letters.
well, let's hope that that adrenaline carries you through the rest of the night, because if you didn't sleep well, I sincerely doubt you're going to want to leave early.
Oh yeah, I'm not gonna leave early. I'll leave when they kick me out. At
Maybe
least-
we can
I
sneak
hope
you some
they don't.
coffee.
Ooh.
Just a little bit. And Octavia says that specifically to Valente. Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Malthea can have little of coffee as a treat.
Yeah, as a treat.
What maybe I would say only if necessary.
Okay.
She's certainly, and then he turns to Amalthea and says, "You've certainly got enough energy to last you a little while at least."
She jumps up and down at that. Her shoes are making like that scuffing noise against the stone floor. Just very
Oh my
excited
God.
teen noise.
The get your head in the game sound effect.
Yes. Her head is so incredibly in the game right now.
Yes.
So
She's
yeah,
so fucking
all right.
hype. All right, next door down, I believe is Edwin. Right? Maybe.
Yeah.
Either Edwin or Gare.
Maybe.
We're gonna go with Edwin.
Yeah, that's fine.
Show
Well,
us your drip.
Someone didn't write it down.
Listen! My document is long enough. My document's like 40 pages, and we're halfway through the campaign.
Damn.
Anyways, Amalthea then runs to Edwin's door and summons him in much the same excited manner.
Yeah, Edwin's ready to go. He answers the door immediately. He's probably just been like sitting on his bed waiting for some indication that other people are also leaving. He didn't get any special clothes because he thinks his nice mage clothes that he got are already very fancy.
Oh, I should be doing something while you guys are talking. 1 second. I like totally forgot. Got new character
Hello?
portraits. Fucking
Yeah.
who else is here? Edwin. Oh, Octavia. Who the fuck is here? Octavia, are you here?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Just
Also,
checking
your new
out-
sprite is so much shorter
Yeah,
than your old
Oh,
Get
yeah.
Oh no,
shrinked.
it's
Get
swordify
shrinked.
Octavia.
God, get shrunk.
Get
Oh,
shrinked,
no.
idiot. Anyways,
Oh, God.
it looks good though.
Oh yeah, because Ninian is so small.
Just squatting on him.
What?
Octavia teabagging the enemy. Anyways,
Octavia
Yes.
was wearing platform heels.
Oh God, she was
She
wearing
lent them to
platform
Edwin.
boots.
I mean, you figure like she's wearing like a dancer outfit now. They don't wear the same like thick shoes as mercenaries.
Mhm.
So maybe she lost a couple inches. But
Edwin
anyways,
standing on his tiptoes.
Edwin is now here. Amalthea summons Gare with very much the same vigor, and he steps out, and he is wearing just like it's this like maroon like dress shirt thing, like a fancy shirt. Very fancy like boots with like covers on them and stuff. And he kind of looks like uncomfortable a little bit, like he doesn't quite know how he's supposed to be like holding himself in this outfit because he hasn't really worn stuff like this before. So he's just kind of fiddling with the buttons on his fancy shirt, and he just looks down at Amalthea and he says, "Oh, well, she looks pretty excited." To which Amalthea just kind of like cackles at him like a small witch. Only to rush off down the hall towards Archibald's door, which she's gone past knocking at people's doors now. She just kind of like bodies it, shoulder first.
Sam,
Yeah.
would a 26 sleight of hand roll allow me to have Archibald, or everyone realize this moment that Archibald's just right there, standing behind him already?
Oh my
Has
God.
been for
Yeah, that's
who
more
knows
than
how
enough.
long.
She's still gonna body check the door though. Yeah, Archibald, you are now among the party. Hold on, where's Archibald's little spritey? Unless you want to describe yourself first. Describe the drip.
I mean, I think I already described it.
True.
Very, it's formal, but not like fancy. It's the sort of thing that like a mercenary or a soldier who's on the like if they have to have some sort of formal event while they're on a battlefield, traveling or at sea, just like a brown overcoat, gold trim, fancy.
Archibald's
Ish.
new haircut.
Yeah,
His new
hair.
hair.
His hair is for the first time since you've met him. It's not even that complicated of a hairdo. He just literally combed it to the sides. And also, as described earlier, there's a distinct lack of dirt, smell, anything. Maybe a bit of a smell, but it doesn't smell like filth. It smells more like maybe, well, you don't know what lizard man smells like, but
Just his
maybe now you do.
natural musk.
Musk.
His
Yeah,
lizardy
dragon.
musk.
It's different.
As you appear silently behind everyone, Gare, after watching Amalthea try to break down your door, just kind of like looks around idly and then notices you, jumps a little bit, and says, "Ah,
What? Hi.
how long have you been out here?"
Back when we were all knocking on Val's why? I just walked out. People were talking. That's all.
Yeah, Val looks like even if he hasn't noticed that Archibald is there the whole time, he did not jump at all. He's like, yep, there's the guy.
Unfazed. There's a little guy. Gare is still kind of just like looking at you, like taking in your clean appearance and smell, because he's kind of gotten used to you being you. And then he says, "Why do you look like that?"
Like what? Like bathe and I'm wearing not rags?
I mean, oh, it's a stupid question now that you say it out loud, but
I did grow up. I've established before that I did grow up in a castle. I wore clothes and stuff. This was not. I do know how to bathe myself. That's a thing.
Huh. Well,
Yeah.
that's
There's like
good, I
silence as
guess.
Octavia. Wait, go ahead, finish. Sorry.
No, he's just gonna say that's good, I guess. Gare
Octavia's
reviews.
just silent.
You.
You. Octavia just like is looking at him like her mouth is like slightly ajar. You could have like this the entire time.
I don't. Why? We were fucking in the woods half the time. Why would I bother? Like it. You know. I don't. I don't. I haven't really, for the last few hundred years, wanted to go around looking like I grew up in a castle. It's not exactly the image you want to project. This is honestly a step down from the kind of stuff I used to have, but that's by choice, really. It was a bit too gaudy for me in the first place.
Val sighs and is like, "Yeah, I remember when I tried to wash you. At the very least, you're gonna smell marginally better now. Unless you're planning on dirtying yourself the second we leave."
Yeah,
This is
Gare's gonna like nod at what Val says, and then he follows up with, yeah, could you keep doing this, possibly perpetually?
Please.
Just like keep washing yourself.
yeah, sure. I guess.
Thank you so much. You don't know how much this means to me.
Okay. Well, the whole skittering around the countryside looking like a peasant thing is that any facade I had going on there is a little bit gone now with the whole. He just sort of gestures vaguely at everyone, all like fancily dressed, and then up at like the actual fucking castle they are standing in is like, yeah, that's sort of a disguise, quote unquote, doesn't really apply here anymore, so might as well, I guess.
Well, that's good to hear. And as he's like nodding, like, ah, yes, thank God, smelly boy hours are over. Amalthea rubs her shoulder, recovers from the damage she has done, like hinge damage to your door.
Jesus.
She's a strong little munchkin.
Look over Gare's shoulders, like, God, I'm already out of the room.
She only hit it like twice, but she hit it.
Holy.
But she rubs her shoulder, she gets up, and then she walks to Godfrey's door and very politely knocks on it.
Oh, he gets
duality.
He gets a knock, huh?
Yeah, which he does answer immediately. He steps out of the room. He's just wearing his archsage robes, which are slightly wrinkled because they've been in his pack this whole time. But he just kind of steps out of the room. He's holding a book in his hand, as if he does not really intend on participating in the fun part of the feast, but he just kind of looks at all of you like, yep, same shit as usual.
Al understands, but still gives him a look of like, really, dude? You're just gonna wear that?
He didn't ask for any other clothes, as far as you know. But he hasn't worn them yet, so they are clean
They're
and new, and they don't
wrinkled.
smell like blood.
They're wrinkled.
They haven't invented irons yet, kind of.
Yes, they have.
They've
they
invented
Definitely
like
not
heavy
true.
irons.
Samantha.
Like
They
weight
had-
irons.
It's you literally.
They had.
Do you know
they
why they're
had
called
metal.
irons?
'Cause you
They had
iron them.
metal and
I know,
hot
there's
water.
one in my house.
It's a giant hunk of metal that you put over a fire until it's hot, and then you iron.
He doesn't
It's
have
called
that.
iron because it's just an iron.
He doesn't have one
Octavia
of
just
those.
sighs and be like, Ira could have done like she could have gotten out the wrinkles.
He's fine.
Yeah,
Go
he's
on.
fine.
Yeah, it's not like
fine.
he's got like stains on his clothes. You can see that he's actually buttoned the top few buttons of his shirt. So,
Wow.
he's attempting. But hold on, I forgot to reveal the art. Cause
Yeah.
Art reveal?
yeah, I mean
Art
it's
reveal.
only new art for Amalthea and Gare. Godfrey is just wearing his other outfit. Hold on, I need to find it. This file has gotten unhingedly layered.
It's chunky.
Gain.
Got the chunky
Gain-
ass file.
So dummy thick. Anyways, there we go.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
They get new art.
Ah,
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
the Gare drip.
Is he wearing blood vials to the party?
No, he's
Is
not.
that-
He's not wearing the blood vials or the armor part. He's just wearing the clothes part.
Fair enough, dude.
Way to really challenge the decree of the king. Don't do that shit in my country. Proceeds to do that shit exactly within his country.
in his house?
in his
fucking
in his
dining
house,
room.
in his dining room in front of his friends and family. But yeah, Amalthea and Gare have new clothes, and they're very happy with it. Alright, but everyone is here now. Are y'all gonna head down to the feasting area?
Yes.
Get rid of these two.
Yes.
Alright, so, when you get, hold on, where's my thingy? When you get there, it seems to be the party is just beginning. It's not quite in full swing yet. People are still arriving. But, you know, there's a lot of people sitting at tables and stuff. It's very, like, openly planned room. It's a very, very large room. You could easily see several hundred people being in this room at once. There's like a dance floor area that's the majority of the space. There's like a small stage where like a band plays, and they're, you know, warming up, getting a couple quick songs out. And then there's tables along the sides of the room. None of them seem to be like name plated or anything. It just seems like people are sitting wherever they want. And there is like a long table like at the back of the room where people are serving food, where you can go up, get like a plate of food and then leave. And then there's also servants like walking around with like wine and stuff. There's a bar off to one side where there are several bartenders just cleaning stuff, getting ready for like nighttime when things are gonna get hashtag crazy. But yeah, other than that, it seems like people are just like starting to get comfortable in this place. As you all look around, you can identify that there are a bunch of tables yet to be claimed. Amalthea runs over to one of them that's kind of out of the way. It's like pretty close to the wall, so that like if anyone doesn't want to get up and do stuff, they can just like vibe in peace, relative peace and quiet. So she sits there, she dumps all her stuff on her chair, and then immediately runs to where the food is. You can hear the little squeak, squeak, squeak of her new shoes against the tile as she goes. She will be easily identifiable until this place gets really, really loud. But as you look around, you can see that the king is already present. In fact, he's already claimed a table. This seems to be the only table in the whole, like, place that isn't just a normal circle table for, like, 8 or so. This one's a much larger table. You can see maybe, like, 12 or 13 people. He's sitting at the, I guess, top of the table. It's a circle. So he's sitting in the most, like, visible, important looking spot. And at this table, he's got with him a bunch of other people. Most of them seem to be women. Some of them have like kids with them. But he's like talking to them. He's already got his food. He's like kicking back. He's still wearing that dancer outfit.
Do they look like? Do they look like dragons? Any of them, by chance?
You are so far away from them. You have to approach
okay.
them. Like he's on the other side of the room. You can only tell it's him because there's like lots of servants hovering around that table. And there seems to be like the most people just like sitting down and eating at that table rather than milling around saying hi to friends and stuff like that. As for other residents of the room, there's a lot of what seems to be like Finbar nobles. A lot of them give you like looks as you walk in, like, oh, who are these guys? They look kind of whack. But none of them really like come up to you and try to ask you anything. A couple servants like direct you towards stuff, but other than that, most people seem to be leaving you alone. Archibald, as you stand there looking around, you do catch the sight of perhaps Beatrix hovering around in one of the corners. She's already got a drink in her hand. She's wearing a very long red dress. She looks very disinterested in this whole feast affair. you all now have
There.
free reign of the ballroom.
Anyone want to go? First of all, is she standing with anyone? Or is she
No,
just
she's just
alone?
standing kind of by a column, slightly off the dance floor, drinking wine. At
Is
least you
the
hope it's wine.
no tailor like just out of sight behind the pillar or something, and just like,
You don't see the tailor anywhere.
oh Jesus. Okay. Anyone want to go? We should. Do we say hi to the host first, or that's probably manners?
Is that something we're supposed to do?
Well, depends. Historically, entering a courtroom or like a banquet room with a king, maybe, but we kind of did just. He does seem looks like
Occupied.
cranes his neck. He's just like Sam. You said he's just like at the head of a table, already like into it.
Yeah, he's eaten. He's talking to these women who are sitting with him. He's not like sitting at the front of the room letting people kiss his hand or anything. He's like
No, yeah.
he's up to his business.
We should probably. It's probably courtesy to swing around at some point. But for now, I suppose anyone wants to go say hi to my old friend over there.
Gare immediately makes like a face, like, oh.
Avia just
Yeah.
links her arm with Archibald, like, I'm here for moral support.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That Octavia's very kind. I'm not going to be doing that though.
That's
God
fair.
That
bless.
is entirely fair.
Godfrey's
Entirely
also gonna
fair.
shake his head like, you're on your own, bro. And he's gonna put his stuff down on the table and then sit down.
That is, again, all highly understandable. Shall we?
I guess we shall.
Archibald and Octavia make their way over. Oh God.
There's it. Hubby, don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious.
Yep.
She sees you coming from a mile away and makes uninterrupted eye contact with you the entire like minute and a half it takes you to slowly approach her. She does not blink once.
Maybe it's just like using her other hand to like pat his like forearm, like, it's okay. You got this.
Yeah.
Got this.
When you finally reach her, she just kind of looks at Archibald, she nods, and then she looks at Octavia. She kind of like half nods, like, yeah, I guess you're here too. And then looks back at Archibald.
I believe you've already been introduced to Octavia. Oh well. Oh shit. Yeah. Right.
It's a pleasure.
Same.
Archibald looks between them like, ooh, that didn't sound like a pleasure at all for either of them.
The two angriest women Archibald knows.
This is
Fight,
all I.
fight,
This is all
fight.
I wanted. Yeah. Enjoying the start of the feast over here.
Not particularly, but I'm required to
you-
be here, so here
Yeah,
I am.
Are you celebrating, or does he have you on? I don't know, incognito guard duty over here.
A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. I'm mostly just here to be here, I guess. But if anything were to happen, and then she looks kind of at Octavia, a little bit of a squint in her eye, said, oh, I would do something about it.
Octavia smiles sweetly. I feel so safe that you're protecting this ballroom.
It's my pleasure. Anyways.
Archibald like stares at the wall for a second and thinks, "Oh, this might have been a mistake. Oh, this is
Archibald
way scarier."
incites a cat fight.
I
By cat fight, I mean dragon fight.
Octavia does look at Beatrix's dress and says genuinely, You have a lovely dress.
Thanks. It's one of the only reasons I enjoy going to these parties is getting to dress up. So. And it is a very nice dress. It's like kind of a low cut red floor length, little bit glitter on the bottom.
Ooh,
It's pretty.
nice.
It occurred to me, Sam, I'm gonna DM you something real quick, but
Oh
you can
no.
you can keep role playing. It's not story.
Oh,
It's
no.
not
Okay.
horrible.
Cheppy's
Not deep
gonna send me a
secret.
shitty
It's just
meme in the
minor
middle of the
detail.
session.
No, you guys can keep role playing while I type this up. Just keep going.
Okay.
But yeah,
Not important, I promise you.
she looks down at her dress. She kind of kicks out her shoe a little bit. Like, yeah, this is a pretty dope dress. You were right, human. She doesn't say that, obviously.
Sorry. Octavius also gestures like, yeah, I really enjoyed this new outfit the Royal Tailor made. It's amazing.
It's interesting. Dancer or just playing a part?
Answer.
I see. Are you performing?
Well, if the king requests, I won't say no.
Huh, well. You're gonna want to catch him before he imbibes too much if you want to dance. So,
Does he imbibe a lot at these events?
I misspoke. He doesn't get drunk. He just gets stupid. So, yes.
Ah, thank you for the update. Or thank you for the. Rand doesn't know the word, but Octavia sure knows the word.
The update.
Yeah, the update.
She turns back to look at Archibald and gives him the once up and down. She says, I see you got new clothes as well.
Well, felt like a bit of a change from the rags, given circumstance and my desire to not go straight back to being tied up or jailed somewhere for indecency or something.
She kind of like raises an eyebrow at indecency, but then she just kind of goes back to looking at your outfit and she says, "It's quite a interesting style you've chosen there."
Yeah, well,
But anyways, I don't think you came over here to talk about outfits, did you? Are you just saying hello, Archibald, or are you going to invite me to dance or something? Because the answer is no.
Archibald opened his mouth at the what did you like come over here for? Like he was about to respond to the did you just come over here to chit chat with actually yes. And then she brought up dancing and there's just like a small short circuit in his brain of like what?
Does Archibald know how to dance?
Oh, that's the question.
Can Archibald dance? That's gonna be performance check regardless, but like hypothetically, does Archibald know how to dance?
I'm gonna go with given background. He probably kind of learned a bit, but it was never his thing, and he hasn't touched it since the last time he was kind of forced to, which would have been about 1,500 years ago. So he's like, what?
Damn.
Archibald sort of, no, no, actually.
Oh, well,
We
that's
did just
good.
come over to say hello. Were you was I, yeah.
Octavia like gently squeezes his forearm, like, good. It's good. It's like the silent, like, it's good. You're good.
Yeah.
You're gonna be okay, bro. It's gonna be okay.
Yeah,
But she just
I-
kind of like looks at you and then like laughs a little bit under her breath. She takes a nice long swig of wine, like uncomfortably long.
Where would we go about getting one of those. I say, pointing at the glass of wine.
As you say this, one of the wait staff walks by with a tray of wine glasses, and she points
Just-
at him.
Just like Archibald's pointing at the glass, and just from out of the side view, just like a hand reaches out and puts a wine glass in the hand. Like, oh, well, thank you.
Octavia also takes the wine glass. Thank you. And starts sipping.
Yep,
It's pretty good wine. It's the good stuff. The king doesn't skimp.
one would hope. I did actually come over here just to say hello.
I
As
see.
a matter of fact.
I take it
Yes.
you've given some thought to what we spoke on last night, and then she kind of looks at Octavia with like kind of a side eye, as if like judging her potential to be a possible sacrifice for a dark ritual. Like, is this
Oh my
is this the
God.
one?
No.
Is
Octavia
it?
just like sees the side eye and just looks straight back at her.
No.
Not
don't.
blinking.
That's not what she's. No. That's not what this is.
I see.
I've
You need more time.
perhaps. I don't know. Well, you know my life story. I don't have to explain these things to you.
Please don't.
Yeah. You know my hesitations.
Well enough.
And why I'm understandably very wary of a lot of these things. And
Yes, I suppose.
I did. Ooh.
He did share.
Yes, she knows. She knows what we're
Oh,
talking about.
I see.
They do know. They do all know what we're talking about. This is not.
You've got an
See.
awful lot of trust for your friends. That's good.
Well, yeah,
It'll make you less likely to die out there.
yeah.
Maybe. But
I just wanted to say that I don't want to get too bogged down in these sorts of questions at, an event like this, but I wanted to say, side note, I'm noticing that like my speech pattern is slipping closer to how Sam plays Beatrix during this, and that's like weird.
He's mirroring. He's mirroring.
Yeah, it's weird.
Become
I,
a spirit.
Octavia
this
notices.
isn't a real person. This person was pulled out of like our Sam and I's collective ass like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and suddenly
That's
I'm
the
like
power.
mirroring her fictional speech pattern. What the hell is this?
The
What?
power of the girl
Good.
boss.
Good.
Mirror neurons are more powerful than we think.
Apparently,
Just hope you
but,
don't start talking like Amalthea. That'll be funny.
no, I think that's a bit out of Andrew's
Cheppy anime girl
range.
moments.
I don't think I have that in me.
Come on, Cheppy Chan, let's go.
I just had like a physical reaction to that says that's
Cheppy
not
gets
gonna happen.
hives.
Yeah, a little, but no, I did want to say that whatever I end up going with on here, I don't want it to be. Well, there's only us left, really, and I don't want to.
I know.
Whatever happens, I don't really want. I feel like that to have us never speak again over, or have one of us try and kill the other over this sort of thing would be.
I'm not
a
going to
waste.
kill you because you said no, Archibald.
Yeah, that would sort of defeat the point of the ritual.
But
Oh God.
But just a wise word from me to you. You might end up dying anyways, so I might not need to. But It's your
What
choice
is
in
that
the
like?
end.
Is that like a threat or a statement about the?
A
Danger
statement
room.
about the
Statement.
journey ahead, of course.
Oh yes.
I have expect
Well,
you to end up dead before you even exit the desert, but you know. A
Have you
girl can
thought that-
dream. And then she takes another long sip from her glass.
is she like? How deep is she in this right now? Is she like
She's not
wasted already?
intoxicated. She's not intoxicated. She's not drinking a lot. She's just drinking very slowly.
Mhm.
I see.
Like she's holding it for a little bit for dramatic effect.
Uh-huh. Octavia's like, have you had experience with the dragon riders on the southern border?
Me personally? No, I have not. I'm always stationed to the north. I hate dealing with everything that goes on there. But I've seen all the reports. Dragon riders coming up from past the sea, all sorts of creatures crawling out from the sands. Trust me, you're going to want to get in and out of the desert as quickly as possible. People lose their minds in that place.
And they're like,
And their lives, definitely. But usually the mind goes first.
Doesn't it always?
But I'm sure you'll all be fine. The bonds of trust are just so powerful after all.
Well, I'm sure you would know, Madam Beatrix.
Oh, wouldn't I? And then she looks at Archibald again.
massive fucking swig of the wine. It's like, oh boy.
The girls are fighting!
The 1-2 punch of the girls are fighting into. Remember that time you ran away from our family problems? Just like, he's. Oh boy.
I'm sure Archibald will be more than able to protect all of you, regardless of what kind of power he has or has not been offered to him. He's a very strong and reliable boy, after all. I'm sure he'll take great care of you.
I do the best I can do. It's all anyone can do.
Yes,
Octavia
I
goes and it's like, he's done a good job so far. I trust him.
Well, clearly. I mean, have you lost any of the members of your party yet? I should ask that before I place too
No.
much faith in him.
No.
No, we haven't
actually,
lost
We've
anyone.
had well,
Close calls.
we've had 2 close calls with the boy over there. One of them was, well,
The boy.
yeah, one of them 2 close calls. I believe one of them was you. Which is
No, I think
It
the
was
second
fake
one was
Godfrey.
fake Godfrey.
Yeah, the second one was fake Godfried.
The first one was a beast, a
uh,
creature.
Beatrix just was gunning for Amalthea.
This is the you and your
You
robot
plural.
friends. It's the you plural, not the you her.
Yes, well, you know, we've got to test our mercenaries before we send them out. They reflect the king, you know. Can't have any weaklings representing the kingdom. And he's fine now, so
Oh, God,
no harm, no foul.
Yeah, well,
I said he's fine now. Is
perhaps harm, but no foul.
Well then,
Sam, do you want to cut away to the other people to give them a chance to talk some? I
sure,
have a great line. If we're standing here in this conversation, you're gonna cut away. Just that
Okay.
little bit of. Should I go for it?
Yeah, no, go for it.
Just that little bit of awkward silence and said, "So, your friend the tailor." Hard cut away.
Oh no!
Hard cut. Okay. While we hard cut away, Gare is currently found himself behind the bartender side of the bar and seems to be making himself something. He is in view of everyone.
I just spat up like half a glass of wine. How did he get the bartender?
He
There
he's
was a bar open. He went to
the
it. He
bar.
wanted to go.
I have to be clear. It's not like an make it DIY bar. Like there isn't like instructions. He is among people dressed as bartenders, wearing his normal clothes or his fancy clothes, his guest clothes, making
And he's
a drink for, you assume, himself. As all the bartenders kind of just like look at him like he's kind of big and scary looking. We don't want to
He's behind the bar.
Yeah, he's behind the bar.
Oh no.
Does anyone want to like approach him, or are you just gonna let him do his thing?
Someone please.
I think Edwin like sat down next to Godfrey because he doesn't know what else to do here, and he just like leans over to Godfrey, who and is like, "Is that something we're allowed to do?" And like points subtly at Gare behind the bar.
Godfrey looks up from where he is. He is in fact reading the book that he brought because
Yeah, I thought
he is
so.
insufferable. But he looks up to where Gare is. He's at this point like shaking a martini thing. Like he's just like making. um and he just kind of like squints at Gare, and he turns to you and he says, "I'm not sure. Are we allowed to do that?"
I have no idea. I thought you would know.
Why would I know? I don't live here.
I don't know. Maybe Val knows. Where's Val? Can I look very quickly around for Val?
Where's Val?
Val is trying is like he isn't hiding, but he isn't not hiding.
Oh.
He's standing off to the side with what you assume is some sort of alcoholic beverage, trying not to look anyone in the eye.
Can I go find Val
Of
and
course.
just like kind of tap Val on the arm and then point over at Gare?
Before you guys can get into having a conversation, Edwin, as you get up, you notice that behind you, as you turn around, Gottfried also gets up, and as you go to talk to Val, he goes straight to where Gare is, and after a couple seconds, he leaves with what you can assume is an alcoholic drink, and goes back to the table.
Thanks for helping, Godfrey.
0 help. But yeah.
Does Edwin
Val.
still tap on Val's shoulder or arm?
Yes. Yes.
Val's like, hi.
Hi. I don't know anything about visiting royalty, but are we supposed to be doing that? And Edwin points at Gare behind the bar.
Val looks at Gare behind the bar, and his face just kind of like slackens a little bit in surprise, and he goes, no. I mean, to be fair, I've only ever visited royalty as a general, though I guess mercenary is similar enough. No, he's being weird.
Should I tell him to not do that?
I mean, if you want to, go ahead. I don't think he's hurting anyone, but he's definitely being weird.
Okay. If I look at the king, has he noticed or does he have any reaction to this?
The king's got his arm around one of the women sitting next to him, and he seems to just be like in his own little world. He's cackling. He does not notice Gare is creating.
Edwin is going to sit back down at the table very slowly, like, I don't think I could do anything about this anyway.
Godfrey just kind of like looks at you as you sit down, like he's not like looking at you like, man, you should do something about that. Just kind of like, huh? Yeah, I'm not gonna do anything about that either. I will take advantage of this
Yeah.
situation for personal gain, and then he drinks whatever he's drinking.
Yeah.
As you guys are milling around, enjoying, the party is now very much in full swing. You guys are given food via walking around people. What are they called? Servants. Servants bring you like
Sam,
food
that's a
on-
waiter. That's a waiter.
No, but like it's fantasy world, so it's a servant.
They had
They're not called
Okay.
waiters. You can't just go to like a Denny's in the 17 whatever year this is.
Well,
I'm looking. What?
What?
They're called I'm gonna call them servants. Cause
Okay.
they're like people that do things other than this. They're not like specifically hired to be waiters. They're like people that work in the castle, but tonight they're doing this. So the servants, they like bring you all sorts of food and stuff. They bring you drinks and stuff. Amalthea managed to temporarily get her hands on a wine glass, which she is just
No.
kind of like hiding from everyone. Like whenever someone approaches her, she just like casually turns to the side a little bit, like, I've got nothing in my left hand, and you can't prove that wrong.
How long are Octavian, Archibald, and Beatrix all in conversation? How long
How
does
long
it
do
take
you
it?
want to be in conversation with
no.
her? Because as soon as you ask if she's got in a thing with the, I almost said hairdresser, with the tailor, she gives you like the look ever, like shut up,
Right.
man.
Octavia is surprised with the look, but then she also turns to Archibald like, dude, you asked.
What?
That
I
is
didn't say
none of your
anything.
business.
Is Beatrix blushing?
Beatrix does not blush ever.
Insight check.
To see if she's blushing?
Or to see if she's like embarrassed or
Oh
if she's
yeah,
like,
go for it. I was gonna say.
oh wow, that's pretty good. Even with my lower, that's a 16.
She doesn't look embarrassed, but she's not like saying no. So she hasn't like said no, but she's still kind of like giving Archibald a look like that is completely inappropriate thing for you to ask me after not saying anything to me for 1,000 years. You can't just show up at my house and do this, Archibald.
Octavia's just like, lady, you were the one who asked about the blood rituals.
Someone asked me was, hey, you want to stab one of your trusted friends? Like,
that's standard
geez.
procedure where we come from. Archibald's question was inappropriate.
Okay.
I
Archibald, you could have been a bit more hit.
didn't even say.
Uh,
I was just going to ask about the. Never mind. And he takes another sip of the wine. He just like waves down the waiter. It's like, can I get?
as you turn around to wave down the waiter, you do see that the seamstress does walk into the hall at that very moment and starts slowly making her way towards you all.
Octavia waves.
She waves back, recognizing you, and she picks up the pace a little bit, arriving at Beatrix's side relatively quickly. She says, "Oh, hi everyone. I'm glad to see the
Hi,
outfits are working out."
They are. Thank you so very much.
Oh,
Yes,
it was
thank
no
you.
trouble
And
at
then
all.
immediately starts sipping the wine.
Well, I hate to bother, but I'm getting pretty hungry, so, do you guys want to sit with us to eat, or have you already found a table?
Oh, we have a table with our group, unfortunately.
Yes, we should go find them. Make sure
Alright.
that. And then I get Archibald over everyone's shoulders like, is Garrett behind the bar?
Octavia, like, her head just like whoops forward to like see, and then it slowly goes back. She smiles at both Ira, is it Ira?
Ira, yeah.
Ira and Beatrix, like, It was wonderful to see you. I hope we can talk more throughout the night. If you please excuse me. And it is like, or if you please excuse us. And she's like dragging Archibald, like, oh my god, Gare, no.
As you guys go to stop Gare's conquest of the bar area, you can see out of the corner of your eye the other two as they turn away. They do quickly and just like, very subtly begin holding hands.
Yes.
Hey.
Yay.
But Beatrix is also like looking back at you as you catch sight of this, like, don't ask stupid questions, use your eyes, idiot. But
okay,
Gare's
they
at the bar.
Yep, they get to the bar. And Octavia's like, Gare?
Oh, you want something?
Okay, sure.
Oh.
What do you
But
want?
so Garrett, you're supposed to tell the bartenders what you want and they will make it for you.
Well, I tried and then they didn't know what I was talking about, so. And then he goes back to making whatever foul concoction he's producing. You're gonna have to forgive me because I don't know the names of alcohols. But he is just pouring very high concentration things into large glasses.
It's like the equivalent of a Long Island iced tea.
Yes, but like the bandit version.
Yeah.
So fucked up.
But it's Long Island absinthe.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. And he does have his own glass of this substance next to him that he periodically takes drinks out of. And as you're like talking to him, people are like coming up to him and he's just like giving them this stuff and they're walking away seemingly like, yup, so normal. Thanks, guy.
Oh god.
Octavia asks again, do they know how much alcohol is in that?
Of course they do. That's why they're coming to me and not these idiots. And then he nods his head over to the other bartenders who are too busy to hear him.
Okay, they're too busy. Otherwise, Octavia would have been like, I am so sorry.
Archibald leans and is like, no. Octavia, this is what
Oh
you
my god, I forgot to reveal the picture. I fucking made a picture.
Oh.
Sorry.
Oh?
There you guys are.
Oh, yeah! The bird!
I can't believe you forgot the image.
Yeah!
I forgot
this is
the image. I'm so sorry. Anyways, go on.
Peak image.
What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, no, you have to understand. Even for a member of the nobility, if you walk up to the bar in the king's court and you don't get what you're expecting, what are you going to say about the king's own alcohol?
Oh no, the king's alcohol is great. These guys just don't know how to put it together right. And then he takes another big swig of his glass. It's like a murky brown color.
Gare,
Alright, Gare has
okay.
completely misunderstood what Archibald was saying, but he's fine with that. He's
Oh
like,
no.
Archibald's like, the bartender could serve like jack shit at the king. The point there, for the record, was the bartender could serve like utter dog shit at the king's court, but it's the king's court. You don't walk into the king's court, walk up in front of the king, and say ew.
As you guys are chatting, someone comes up next to you and stands there for a second, and as you look over, you see it is in fact the king, who just kind of like waves at all of you, like, "Oh, hey, how are you? It's nice that you could come," and then reaches over, takes one of Gare's concoctions, and then leaves.
I guess it's okay.
My god.
Gare did say these parties get intense. Maybe this will just help it along.
I need this for my sanity.
Was that Gare that said it?
Yes.
But Octavia's just like, understand. You're making more than you need for your sanity right now. You know this.
Oh,
Oh,
well,
he needs it.
everyone else needs it too for my sanity.
Ah.
You want some? It's
Yeah.
pretty good.
Octavia's like, I might dance later, maybe later. Thank you though.
And then he just kind of like shrugs, like suit yourself before going back to his wicked business. He does seem to know what he's doing. Like he's constructing them in a way that says this man has either seen this done before or has done it before. It's just that what his preferences are unhinged.
Yeah.
He's a big
Just-
guy. He's a big guy. He needs
Just
it
then-
potent.
Just then, Val walks up, looks at whatever Gare's making, and like kind of gives like a sniff and nods approvingly, downs what he was drinking, which was whiskey, and then grabs some and leaves.
Gare like points at Valente as she leaves, like, see, she gets it.
Val had just straight up moonshine. This is fine.
Yeah.
Val, as you drink it, I don't know if you particularly care about the taste, but it just kind of tastes like what you imagine eating a fireball would taste like. Not the drink, the actual spell.
Yeah. Like I said, Val has had like moonshine basically.
Yum,
Because
yum.
when you're in the army, you don't really fuss about what you're drinking so long as it gets you wasted.
Oh, and you
so
can
he's
can
like-
feel this thing that Gare has handed you is gonna do the job just fine.
Yeah, Val's like nice.
Archibald
He's got a
takes
pretty
one.
high tolerance anyway, so he's excited that it's not going to take him too long to get where he wants to be.
Mhm.
Archibald takes one and takes a sip of it. It's like, Gare, I literally breathe fire, and this is, as far as drinks go, this is the closest I have tasted to dark magic fire.
Gare kind of smiles at that, like he's proud of himself. Like, oh, thank you.
I have
Now
no idea
Octavia's
how
like,
you.
now. Sorry, go ahead.
I have no idea how you achieved this, but it's confusing but impressive. And takes another sip.
He is extremely pleased to have gotten a compliment from someone he considers to be much wiser than him.
Oh. Octavia just sees that everyone else is drinking and is feeling left out. She's like, Archibald, let me try a sip. Yours.
Archibald just hands her the glass. He doesn't care.
Sorry, what?
Archibald just hands her the whole glass. He doesn't care.
Octavia makes a face like, no, I didn't need the whole glass. And then she takes a sip.
It hurts.
Octavia's like straining not to make a face of pain.
As you're indulging in Gare's creation, Amalthea appears next to you, and she looks at the cup. She says, "What's that?"
Does she have a glass? in her hand?
Fireball, literal fireball. And also, do you have wine in your hand?
She hides it behind her, but unfortunately, Valente is on the other side of her and can clearly see that it is indeed a wine glass. And
Is
she
it
says,
empty?
"Nothing."
Question, so this is a question. In the olden days, everyone drank wine because water gave you dysentery. I'm
Yeah.
assuming that's not the case.
No. We've got like mages
Okay.
and stuff. They figured out dysentery already. Simply
You-
don't
Okay,
shoot
good.
yourself.
People
Yeah.
Simply
No,
So
I
happy
figured
for
that
her.
we figured out dysentery. I was just like, is it still considered normal for kids to
No,
drink?
it's not like as illegal as it is in the US, but it's not like, hell yeah, kid, let's get turned.
Yeah.
You are 15.
You're 15, what the fuck? And this is a party.
What? Hold on, give me a second.
Oh.
I would like to either roll strength or sleight of hand to just take it from Amalthea. I'd say strength because Val doesn't care if Amalthea notices if he does it or not. He's just gonna take it.
Okay, but just know that if you have consumed alcohol during this session, the results of your rolls may be slightly skewed.
Oh,
That's fair.
boy. Yep.
So, would you say strength works because Val doesn't care if she knows it
Strength
happened
is
or not?
fine. Roll whatever you like.
Yay. That's a 21.
You break the glass.
Oh god.
Thankfully, it is mostly empty.
It does Amalthea get glass in her hand?
No, she does not. You break it after she lets go of it, but she kind of like whirls around like, huh?
Val
What was
looks
that
her dead in
for?
the eye. Val looks her dead in the eye and says, "You are not old enough to drink,
What? Yes, I am.
kid. No, you're not."
Oh, so I'm old enough to kill people, but I can't drink? That's a stupid
You're-
rule.
Hey.
What?
You're not old enough to drink at a party with a bunch of people we don't know.
I know you guys. I was just gonna follow
Yes.
Valente around the whole time.
Val looks really surprised and pleased at that. But I was like, I wasn't going to be doing anything fun though, and you were excited for this.
Oh, you don't want to dance? I can teach you.
Val makes a face and is like, I know how I look when I dance. It's not great.
So, who cares? You gotta just like, and then she wiggles her arms a little bit. She says, feel the music.
Octavia just like is her eyes are just closing and you feel like if she had the chance she would she's so proud of Amalthea's energy, but she's also like, oh god, no.
Archibald looks confused. He's like, wait, do we not let children drink alcohol anymore?
No.
I'm confused. Why do we
Oh.
not? Is
Because young minds form dependency on things faster than adults do.
I mean, it didn't
From behind the bar,
people
you
do
hear
it.
Gare mumble, "Tell me about it," before taking another swig of his drink.
I mean, it
but
kind
yeah,
of works for people for okay.
But yeah, when Amalthea says like, "Who cares?" In Val's mind, he's doing this quickly. It is not as quick as he think it is because he's drunk. But it's not like he's doing it for very long. But he like glances at Gare and then looks back and is like, "I care about what other people see of me personally."
Huh. Well, that's just silly. We're never gonna see any of these people again, probably.
Hey Amalthea, how about if you want to dance, I'll dance with you.
Promise? Let's go, let's
I
go, let's go,
promise.
let's go, let's go.
Okay. And she puts the glass down, never to return to it.
She drags you onto the dance floor, and then
Val picks up the glass.
her
Oh,
form
God.
of dancing is in fact just kind of wriggling.
Yeah, as she's pulling Octavia away, can I make an insight check on Amalthea?
Oh, sure. For what?
Archibald wants to know how wasted is the child right
Oh
now?
yeah, go for it.
God. Oh no.
Oh, that's an 18.
18. She doesn't actually seem to be that drunk. It's more of a placebo effect where she drank alcohol and she was already hyped the fuck up. So now she's just kind of like, yeah, I'm so drunk. When she's like, you had 4 sips. Like, calm down.
Yeah.
And most wine that's meant to be consumed regularly doesn't have that high of an alcohol content anyway.
As long as you don't give her
Can
whatever
I-
the hell Gare is handing out to people, she'll be fine.
Can I make another insight check?
For who?
How wasted is Octavia being
Oh,
dragged out
no.
on the dance
I
floor?
don't know.
Let's find out.
Oh god.
That's also an 18. Wow.
Octavia, you are starting to feel it. That stuff
Oh,
works
no.
fast and
Uh-oh.
accurate. You don't think
Oh,
you're gonna like
no.
fall over there because you only had a sip, so you're just feeling like a little bit like, But you think that in like 30 minutes or so you'll be completely fine.
Okay.
Archibald, as they're getting dragged away, picks up that glass Octavia put down, looks at it, sniffs it, thinks about the 2 wine glasses they each had, and then this, and is like, I'm actually a giant lizard. Maybe this... Uh-oh. This might not have This might not be as light for other people in this group as it is for me. Whoops.
Oh no.
All right, Octavia, do you want to make a performance check to see how good you dance on the dance floor in your
I will
current
say,
condition?
since I have the dance skill, do I? As long as I roll above a 5,
You
it's
gotta
okay.
roll above a 5.
Okay.
Does Amalthea also
Yeah,
roll?
she's making it. Hold on. Oh, she rolled perfectly, so she's absolutely breaking it down as best as a 15-year-old with no actual skill can break it down.
That's good. Tabia rolled an 8, so it is a success, but not like a complete success.
Yeah, you're not like clearing the dance floor, but you haven't killed anyone. So all right.
That's good.
How about we check in on Edwin? Edwin, I believe you're still at the table, right?
Yes. Did people come back to the table? I wasn't totally sure.
I assume they've been kind of a come and go situation.
I'm pretty sure that Godfrey is like just
he's still
being
there.
a hermit. Yeah, he has.
Yeah, he's just reading
he's
his
still
book.
reading. He has drank his whole drink, and if you had been part of that conversation, you would have realized, yes, he is drinking whatever the hell Gare made. And he doesn't seem to be
I think I
complaining
did
about it.
see that. That's where he got it from.
Yeah. Gare's special sauce. But yeah, he's just kind of reading, but he does like look up from his book after like maybe an hour of just like pretending he's not at a public event. And he just like kind of mumbles to himself about needing to talk to Archibald about something.
Yeah. Does he get up to do that?
He
Or
does
is he
not
just talking to
immediately get
himself?
up to do that. He just kind of stares for a minute. Not at Archibald, just like
Oh.
out.
Can I roll to tell if he's drunk?
You may.
What is that? Insight?
Insight, probably.
Forgot to pick a d20. Well, Edwin is not good at this, but I rolled nice, so 16.
Yeah, he's drunk.
Drunk.
He doesn't look like he's gonna like start a fight or anything, but he's not very focused at the moment. But he searches for Archibald in the room, just kind of like vaguely.
Oh God, does he do his like walls go down when he's fucking wasted? Oh no. Oh no.
I feel like Edwin would take the hint and also look for Archibald. Where is Archibald?
is
Where did he get
Archibald?
to? Where is Archibald? It's like, where's Waldo?
Archibald is not really drinking much, but he's just kind of leaning on the bar next to Gare while Gare's doing his thing, watching
Gare now has like a
Octavia
small
dancing.
like army of glasses in front of him. He has run out of customers, but he has not run out of spirit. He's still making them.
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
These are all for him now.
Oh,
Archibald, stop.
don't hurt. Yeah, you're drunk and dancing. Oh, no. Metagame
Go
here.
fall over on your own.
Yeah.
Edwin sees Archibald over by Gare and is sorry, not Archibald. No, yeah, Archibald. I just mixed up Archibald and Godfrey. I'm sorry. Edwin sees Archibald over there and is like, "Oh, he's over there. Were you gonna go talk to him now?"
Godfrey looks at you as if he'd completely forgotten he was not in fact sitting alone. And then he just kind of like nods to himself, like, yeah, I need to go talk to him. And then he just kind of like gets up, and then after a second of like pondering, he takes off his cloak, mumbling about how it's way too warm in here. And then he goes off to find Archibald.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna follow him because I am worried about him.
Archibald fucking dies.
Do I notice this?
Do you want to notice this? How drunk are
Yeah.
you?
Godfrey coming for you.
Me? Archibald, who is a literal dragon whose blood we've established is slightly caustic, had like 2 glasses of wine and like a sip or 2 of this fucking fireball thing.
Gare sauce.
He had like the same amount of alcohol as Octavia had, but he's a dragon. So interpret that as
He's
you
fine.
will.
He's fine.
Yeah.
Not even feeling the buzz yet. Does he?
This
Does
is
he see Godfrey coming?
this is like the joke here is that this is Sam has seen me in real life, and this is a reversal.
Yeah,
of
no,
that.
it's so funny. Anyways,
You get wasted, Cheppy.
Wasted.
I start to get
Gets
all
giggly.
smiley and I get giggly at like the neck of a Guinness. Like
It's so funny.
Oh,
Good
that's
for
so.
you. Good for
Meanwhile,
you.
I got 4 drinks in once, and I honestly didn't know that everyone around me had thought I was sober.
the
Bruh.
first time I got drunk was at a bar in Montreal at a convention with some college friends, and I was sitting there. I was like, okay, I kind of feel the alcohol, but I don't like feel it that bad yet. And then I realized, oh, I'm smiling. Oh,
how
I
it
can't
gets you.
stop smiling.
Oh,
I've
no.
been smiling for the last 20 minutes and I can't stop. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
But anyways, before we get too off track, because oh god, the stories I could tell of Cheppy being drunk. But
There's like 4.
I know, and they're all hilarious. Godfrey is now standing right next to you, and he's on a good day, he looms over people. Now he's not doing it on purpose, and it's 3 times as bad. So,
Oh. Hey man, are you okay?
he looks at you kind of confused, like, why would you ask that? I'm perfectly fine. But he doesn't answer. And he just says, you stole something.
What?
You stole something. Can I have it?
What did I
From the
feel?
from the tower. You stole a book. Can I have it?
The the magic book?
He just kind of like thinks for a second, like, what was the book? I don't remember.
Clarify. Did Archibald get back the blood magic book
Yep,
from the
you
king?
got back everything.
Oh, that's I don't have
Yeah,
that.
and I think we even Godfrey himself told me to give it back to you. Suspirium, right?
Yeah, Suspirium, and then Archibald
Not
took a second
Suspirium.
book.
Yeah, the blood magic book.
Blood magic book.
I forgot they were separate.
Archibald is like, oh, that book. I don't have that on me at the moment in the middle of a dance hall.
He
What?
seems confused as to why you would not have that on you in the middle of the dance hall, but he does not argue with that.
Do you need it for something right now? It's the party.
I want to read it. I want to look at it. I have an idea.
In the middle of a ballroom?
I have an idea.
He's visibly wasted, right? Like he's like just out of like smashed.
I mean, he's
Yeah,
not
I was
like
gonna
he's not
say-
stumbling or anything. Like he's walking fine, but like
I was
vibes are
gonna say
so
Edwin,
off.
I was gonna say Edwin like leans around him a little bit and is like, he had a glass of Gare's stuff.
Gare's special stuff.
Yeah.
Gare, by the way, Gare behind the bar, who has been continuously drinking this, like, he's like on cup 3 now. Perfectly fine. The devil
Holy
works
hell.
hard, but Holy Blood works harder.
Oh wow.
And he has a lot of it.
It's the holy blood. Okay. I was like, hey, Val can drink, and if he's getting if it's holy blood, that makes sense.
He's got 12 different anti-bad stuff happen to your body blessings inside of him, and each one is canceling out 1 drink, which means he needs to drink 13 in order to get anywhere.
The amount of alcohol he needs to get wasted is like 13 times whatever. Someone else needs like 2 glasses. He needs like
That's why he makes him so powerful. That's why he makes him so powerful, because you can just speed run this process.
I see.
But anyways, yeah, Godfrey's his vibes are way out of whack. So out of whack.
Do you right now, I mean, sort of hidden away, like all my stuff, per se. Do you want to go upstairs or something, or did you want to read it in the middle of this? We're in the middle of an open room, man, and you know what book you'd be reading, like it's...
He takes a minute to ponder this, apparently not having thought about the fact that it's a book about illegal magic and the king is right there. He ponders this for like a long minute and then he says, I'll get it later. And then he turns around and he goes back to the table.
Archibald
Edwin
waits
follows him, but he. Oh, go ahead.
No, I think we're about to say the same words for each of our characters, so you go and whatever you say, same thing.
I was gonna say Edwin follows him, but also takes a glass of Gare's stuff because he has to know.
Oh Lord. Archibald does not do that bit, but he does follow Talon, and Gary turns around and is like, Godspeed, don't get too blasted in the middle of the court.
Gare raises a glass to you and cheers, like, hell yeah, bro, rock on. As another gaggle of noble women slowly make their way towards him and his small line of prepared drinks. The other bartenders have at this point just kind of like started hanging out. Like they're kind of like sitting around behind the bar just talking to each other and drinking their own drinks. Like Gare's just doing their job.
This one gay man just lapping all the straight dudes in the fucking...
Well, because they're like preparing like fancy drinks and he just like, no, let's cut to the chase. I know why you're here.
Yeah.
I know why you came here.
I know why you came here. Here's the best stuff I can make.
It's paint thinner.
It's literally paint thinner. Gare gives you turpentine. But yes, Godfried makes his way back to the table, sits down in his chair. His cloak falls onto the floor, but he doesn't seem to notice. And he goes back to his book, but he doesn't look like he's reading. He's just kind of staring at it.
Yeah. So I guess Edwin and I are both sitting at the table, right?
Yeah.
Sort of looking at Edwin and looking back at Godfrey, just looking at Edwin like, should we do something? Something's weird.
I don't really know what to do about it. I mean, he seems fine now. He's not breaking anything or upsetting anyone.
As you say that, Godfried is going to very suddenly get up and sort of like not lunge across the table, but reach like very far across the table and drag one of like the white cloth napkins back towards himself. And then he's gonna pull the pen that he took out of his room out of his pocket.
Oh. And do what with it? He's writing?
He starts writing on the napkin.
He has inspiration.
Okay. Well.
Edwin's like trying to see what he's writing.
You can't immediately understand what it is because it doesn't seem to be in any common symbols.
Can Archibald give it a whirl?
Sure.
Like,
do you want to make like a scholastics check? Or are you just vibes?
I'm thinking about which one's best. I guess Scholastic? I guess that's kind of what it has to be. Though arguably Edwin would be better at this, so I don't know why I'm doing this at all, but whatever. I said it.
I don't know other languages.
Oh!
That
is Scholastics. That is a non-natural 20.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
You have no idea what it says, but you do recognize the symbols as being exactly the same as the ones that were on all of his other stuff. So only you had the code for it. He is also drawing like lines and stuff. Like he seems to be drawing something as well as writing.
Does it look like? Does it look like magic ritual stuff? Like it?
No, it actually looks a lot more like maybe architectural plans of some sort. Like there's measurements involved.
Jesus Christ! I just had a thought. Okay. Wow. Not saying that one out loud.
Oh no.
Oh
Oh
no.
no. Oh no.
Oh. Oh God, alive,
Archibald.
Samantha, you better fucking not have.
What? What
Okay.
did I do? Okay, now you're just.
Oh, oh Lord, he better not be trying to make like a weird robot effigy of whoever died. Oh, that'd be bad.
I literally can't say anything.
I know you can't. That's why I wasn't gonna say it because you wouldn't.
But since you rolled a 20, I'll give you a vague, idea. It doesn't seem to include any human-like limbs, or a face, or anything like that.
Okay,
But,
noted.
unless you want to make a tech roll, you have no idea what the hell this thing is.
I have it. There's a tech skill.
Yeah, this is a technology
Oh.
skill.
Wait.
It's under wisdom,
Where
I
is
believe.
it? Oh.
I can try that. If
Please
we're
do.
sharing thoughts on this at all.
No one
Please
ever
do.
makes tech rolls, except for Godfried, who's been, like, shadow making them this entire time.
It's a skill only for him.
Yeah, I think he's the only one with proficiency in it. Is that true? No, I think Klaus has proficiency in it as well. But he just got here, so.
Wait, what did you say it was under?
It's under wisdom technology.
Oh, I see it. Never mind. I'm
The
not
group
good at
dump
that. I was
stat.
thinking it would be with the other stuff. I'm terrible at that. Don't look at me.
It's okay. Do you want to make one still or no?
Sure. What could go wrong? 13.
13. It looks like some. It's not a building. You realize that as he works. It's not a building. It looked kind of like a floor plan at first, but it's not. Whatever it is, it's kind of like long and made of rectangles, but you're not entirely sure anything other than that.
And he's come up with an idea for a new gun, everyone.
Yeah. Edwin doesn't know, but that's my
Inspiration.
guess.
After scribbling for like a cool 5 minutes in complete silence, he stops. He doesn't let go of the pen. Well, okay, he lets go of the pen, but he doesn't put the pen down. He just kind of ceases to hold the pen, and it goes flying onto the floor. He stares at what he's created, very intently for a moment before gathering the napkin up, standing up, grabbing his cloak off the ground, and leaving.
Oh no.
Only to reappear approximately 1 minute later, now wearing his cloak, looking a little bit confused. But then he marches over to the king's table.
What?
Uh-oh, we should follow him. We should go.
I will say,
Okay.
does Octavia notice this on the dance floor?
Do you? You want to make a perception check?
Sure.
Uh-oh.
It's not like he's not being
What's
secret
with
about
your
it. He's just
special
like
eyes?
walking like as
Yeah, he's just
straight a
walking.
line as possible, given all the people.
I'm just hoping. Well, Edwin and Archibald are following it anyway, so either way, let's
Yeah.
just for funsies. The perception. It's also in the dump stat.
You
That's
notice.
a natural
All of us like
one.
when
One,
we...
you don't notice anything, mostly because Amalthea is currently just kind of shaking you back and forth as part of her dance. So all you
You're-
see is like
yeah.
blurry ceiling.
You're wasted and being spun around. It's just like
Octavia wishes she took some more of the motion sickness medication before this.
That's so sad.
All right, so who's following Godfrey around? I see Ghost
As
and
soon as
Harass.
he's walking over to the king, I think Edwin is getting out of his chair.
Yeah, Archibald also is like, oh, what?
He makes it over there without crashing into anyone.
Slide on in real fast right behind him, looking at the king with a like, he's drunk sort of look.
The king just kind of like smiles at all of you, and he doesn't seem to be drunk in the slightest, despite the fact that he has like 4 of these glasses of Gare's concoction in front of him, all of them mostly empty. And the women at his table all just kind of like turn to look at you guys as well, just like, oh, who are these weirdos? And you can see that most of them are like trying to contain or like feeding or just monitoring small children. So after staring at you for a hot second, they all just kind of go back to like, oh, Jimmy, eat your peas, that kind of thing. Thankfully, it doesn't look like any of the children have gotten
Weird
alcohol.
question. None of them look like dragons or maniquettes, right?
Not immediately. You don't see any sign that they would be. They look like
That's
kids.
a perception roll request. That's
Okay,
not
yeah, go for it.
yeah. What is that? It's like an 11.
No, you don't see any immediate signs that any of them are dragons.
That is arguably the most reasonable roll for dragon that I've made this campaign. That's a completely reasonable
They
time.
do, however, all look kind of like the king. You do notice
Yeah, that's what I thought you were gonna say.
All the kids or
all the kids. There's maybe 11 or
All of
12 of
them.
them at this table.
All of them.
All of them kind
Oh,
of have
Jesus.
either his hair color or like, you know, the dark purple that's in his eyes. They're all wearing sort of royal clothes. They all kind of look like him.
Oh Lord.
Maidenful behavior. Anyways,
Plenty of maidens on this king.
Godfrey turns to look at the king and in absolutely just like not even saying hello or like a greeting or like, because he hasn't approached the king to say like, oh, thanks for inviting us or anything. Not that he probably would have regardless, but he especially doesn't do that now. He just turns to the king and asks where he could find some building supplies. To which the king just kind of like looks at him, and he's got kind of like a dopey smile on his face. He's not drunk, but he's, you know, he's surrounded by maidens and he's having a great time.
But behind him, Archibald sort of gestures at the Gare glasses on the table, his finger, and then motions the little like sort of, you know, drinking from glass motion with his hand. Okay.
The king like briefly glances at you and like smiles a little bit, like, yeah, man, I can tell. But he doesn't address you directly. But he does say like, oh, here, let me call someone over, and he does call someone over, who then just is like, I can find some building supplies ? And clearly they don't entirely know what that means, but Godfrey is happy to turn to them and then follow them as they leave. And the king just kind of like looks at them go, and then he laughs a little bit and he says, God, you guys are so weird.
Yeah.
Edwin like turns to Archibald and was like, "Do you think one of us should go with him?"
Oh, probably the responsible thing to do. And I'm pretty sure that I feel like this would be very much Octavia or Val territory, but I think they're both occupied.
Yeah, I mean, I can go, but I thought if you really didn't want to be at the party anyway for whatever reason, and Edwin like kind of nods in whatever general direction he saw Beatrix last.
Beatrix is now dancing with the seamstress off in one corner, kind of out of beat to the music.
Aww.
Yeah, it's a very
Good for
sweet
her.
moment. Don't interrupt them.
Or
Or do.
I mean, do you want to go? Do you want to be at the party? Or do you want to...
I have no idea what to do here, so I would very much like to leave.
That's fair. Well, I guess it's like between here and the rooms to find me if something.
Yeah, I'll come get you guys if anything happens. Don't worry.
Yeah, don't let him do anything too. I have like mime a little like knifing motion, like
Yeah.
the king is right there. Oh, piss.
Yeah.
The king is just kind of like looking at you as you guys have this discussion. And as he's doing that, he just kind of like takes a little piece of paper out of his pocket, takes his own like fountain pen from one of the women, which is way nicer than any of the dinky ones you got in your room, but he's the king, so and he just
What
like
color is it?
you can't see what color the ink is. He's kind of
Damn.
facing away from you. And he writes on it, and then he does a like swirly signature at the bottom, and then folds the paper very tightly, and he hands it to Edwin. He says, "Go give this to your friend when you find him."
Oh, sure, thank you.
The supply rooms are on the first floor. Just ask any guard; they'll tell you where.
Okay. Thank you very much, and sorry for the trouble, and thank you for inviting us also.
It's no problem. You guys are more behaved than most of my guests. Trust me, it's gonna get bad later.
Oh,
Oh
well,
God.
Edwin, like, glad he's escaping.
Those northern nobles don't know how to act, I'm telling you. And he like kind of jerks his head over to another table. You can see a bunch of like green-haired women loudly arguing in a language you do not understand.
You want to bet?
It's not draconic.
I didn't say draconic. Archibald's old.
Archibald knows.
Do I know vaguely where they're from? Like,
Well, they've got green hair, so you can assume they're either Maniquettes, which they're not, because, you can kind of tell, or they're from Salice, which, given the dialect, kind of sounds like they're from Salice, so.
I see.
The part of
Yeah.
Salice that is
Edwin-
not Belhala.
Yeah.
Yep.
Edwin bows several times to the king to make sure he's being properly polite before he runs off after Godfried.
Alright, I'm gonna stick in the ballroom for a couple more seconds before we go on an Edwin adventure.
Adventure.
Valente, what are you up
Adventure.
to?
I mean, much of the same of I'm going to stand and sip this fire and not look anyone in the eye too hard unless they speak to me first.
Most of the people seem to be avoiding you, but a couple of the guards do, like, come up to you, like, looking at you, like, are you on duty? Like, you look
That
kind of
isn't
official.
his
No, but you
honor.
look very official. And you're, like, kind of standing off to the side, like maybe a guard in fancy clothes would be. So they're like, are you our boss? Are you someone? You look very important.
First of all, this is wonderful. I mean, yeah, that is kind of the vibe Val always gives off is I'm a little bit in charge. But every time Val looks at them with a raised eyebrow and is like, "Do you not know what your boss looks like?"
These kids seem to be like trainees, so maybe they don't.
And then Val says, "Do you think your boss would be drinking on the job?"
They half of them just turn and look over at Beatrix like,
Yeah, Beatrix is like several wine glasses down and now kind of drunkenly dancing in the corner.
And then Val's like, "Do you think your superior would be trying to make a point about the things that he's doing that a superior wouldn't be doing right now?"
At that, a few of them, and they're all like younger Pegasus Knights. Like the Finbar like border patrol seems to be mostly Pegasus Knights, so they're like a bunch of younger girls, maybe like between 15 and 17, and they just kind of like look at you,
Yeah.
and then they like skitter off, like, huh, Okay. I guess we don't know that guy. Let's pretend he doesn't exist and ignore him for the rest of the ball because we're embarrassed.
Oh.
I mean, Val didn't mean to embarrass them, but that was his goal, was to get people to stop talking to him.
Mission success.
Especially since young Pegasus
Whoa.
Knights make him sad.
Aw.
Oh, yeah.
Very sad.
Fair enough, my dude.
Alright.
I think he probably drinks 2 cups of whatever the fuck
Gare's
or
fun
Godfrey-
sauce.
Gare juice before he's like, yeah, I'm there, and then he just kind of stands around doing the same thing, except now he doesn't look like he has something he's supposed to be doing, so he looks even more awkward, and it's going great.
Valente simply vibes. Just projecting vibes. Alright, Octavia, Amalthea finally releases you from her dance ritual after a, hour and a half of, spinning around on the dance floor. You no longer feel drunk, but you do feel like you've been picked up by a tornado and slammed into the ground several times. Your head hurts, your feet hurt.
Yeah. Octavia's like, God damn, maybe the king should have taught her.
Amalthea is still alone on the dance floor, just kind of spinning around at this point.
God, just God. Oh, kid. What a legend.
Octavia just goes back to the table. Or actually, are there any other free tables that are closer to the dance floor?
Yeah, there's a couple mostly empty tables. Maybe 1 or 2 completely empty ones.
Okay, Octavia goes to one of those and sits down on a chair and just keeps an eye on Amalthea as she's making her head stop spin and taking a break.
Amalthea's absolutely just she's not dancing at this point. She's literally just spinning around in place. You can hear Toto's Africa playing in her head as she just stares up at the ceiling.
What are the other, are there other children around her age on the dance floor, and how do they feel
there's these
about
other
her?
Pegasus Knights, and they're all equally bad at dancing, so maybe a couple of them do, come up to her, hey, who the fuck are you? Come spin with us.
They're kind of, they're doing that thing where they're, impressed, but also intimidated by whatever this is.
Yeah, they've seen her power, excuse me. They've seen her power and they're like, she will do well among us. She does join up with a group of Pegasus Knights. And
Okay.
She leaves Octavia alone.
That's fine. She's having fun with people her own age, but Octavia just takes some moments, and probably after that she realizes, wait, where the fuck is Godfrey? Where the fuck is Edwin?
You notice that Godfrey's book has actually been left behind on the table. He didn't take that with him.
Archibald's still standing at the table, kind of just.
He left his book.
Guess. Okay, Octavia goes to get his book and is like, okay, it's probably a light tome. It's probably going to be a code, or either both. But she still picks it up and does do a little bit of a skim.
Whatever it is, it seems to be. It's not handwritten. It's definitely not a light tome, because you know for a fact that his light tomes usually take the form of balls of singed paper that live in his clothes.
This is true.
But
This is true.
it looks to be some sort of book on curses or something. You look at the cover and it says curses and hexes.
Oh, was that the one that he wanted from us to begin with?
It is.
Forever ago?
He was already holding it?
No, it's a different book.
No, we gave it to
Different
him.
one.
The very
Oh.
first session
Okay.
Godfrey was introduced, he wanted that book.
And he got that book.
And he got his fucking book, and now he's finally getting some time to read it. But now he's blasted, so.
Maybe not.
Maybe not.
I've actually. She's like, well, I'm glad I picked this up, but I think I'm gonna have actually just like it's not gonna amount to anything because that's not in her good place. But I guess can I make a dark magic or a scholastics check?
For what? What are you looking for?
I'm just curious to see like what's in it. What was the? Is there any indication that he bookmarked particular pages or stuff like that?
Okay, yeah, go for it. I guess it would be a dark magic check if you're trying to understand the information inside, and a scholastics check to see if he's like writing notes and stuff in it. So pick your poison.
Okay, it's gonna be either or. So I guess just I'll do scholastics for now. See what happens. Oh, actually, was that cocked? Shit, it was cocked. That's even worse. It's a natural one.
Oh,
You
no.
open the book, and at the sheer amount of just tiny print about all the different violent ways a human being's body can just disintegrate beneath them, you don't have the stomach to continue reading after being spun around like a blender for the past hour and a half, so you just close the book.
Let's just get this
Archibald
back to him later.
Archibald turns across the table is like, "You look like you are about to be sick."
Yeah, I need to rest for a little bit.
Understandable. He's just off with Edwin, and he got wasted. Thought up some weird artificing idea or something, and went and asked the king drunkenly if he had any building supply. He is with the kid in a league, you know.
He asked the king while he was drunk. Okay.
The king didn't give a shit.
This isn't helping Archibald.
The king didn't care. The king was kind of amused by it.
That's good. It seems like he's pretty amused with whatever we do, so let's keep it at amusement and not other
Yeah.
things.
Him and what I assume are his, like, several dozen children over there.
Oh shit, those are all his kids?
I
Wow.
am pretty sure. Just gotta say, none of the women at that notice that table. That's all women. None of them look like him. Almost every one of their kids that they have there, and there's a lot of them, all definitely look like him. Pretty sure.
Well, that's what happens sometimes. You're king, you can do what you please.
Dragon. Uh, he starts to say dragons, and then sort of pauses because like they're in a public space. He's like,
No, go on.
they're. That's interesting. There was, well, how to put this delicately for present audience, he says, sort of looking around at the room. Uh, our people? Sure, our people rather famously had some fertility problems. Pretty bad. So, His Majesty is a statistical
Well,
anomaly right now. Yeah.
okay, Octavius started to process like this. Well, none of the women looked like dragons, did they?
No.
So there you go.
Yeah. Humans putting in all the whatever.
So it seems like, well, I actually Octavia pauses for a second, is actually like looking at Archibald and like, you can tell me to shut up if this is uncomfortable. I think my brain is still trying to fall out of my ear. Did you ever want to have a family?
Oh, I never really got to that point. The point of thinking about it even.
Well, Yeah, that makes sense. Well, you don't have to. No. Yeah, that makes sense. Sorry. Weird question.
No, yeah, it's a fair question though. It's not that weird of a question, probably. I feel like the fact that it's a weird question is more to say about our group than maybe the society around us.
Yeah. Octavia's like, I currently don't have. I don't think I have my. Yeah, I didn't bring my satchel or like my usual belt. So if you could hold on to the book in your coat pocket, I would appreciate that.
Sure. He
Thanks.
takes it and puts it away. God.
Who would have known Godfrey acted like that when he was drunk?
Oh. Sorry, I was just reading chat, got distracted.
Okay.
Oh god, what's happening
Yeah.
in chat?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. What do you mean? What's happening in chat? You're the okay. We're the problem. You and I.
Yeah, you're literally.
For everyone, for future and in chat.
Catboy Gare in the chat.
It's Catboy Gare in the chat.
We're
That's the
doing
new
the
unique.
Discord. We're doing the text chat equivalent of standing in a circle around
Wire.
around Dwyer and I guess Gare and saying kiss.
No, not me.
Around
Val
Valente
and
Gare.
doing the
That
kiss.
made me feel really embarrassed.
Oh
Oh
no!
no,
No, we're
you're
so
fine.
sorry. We didn't mean it like that. So sorry.
No.
He poised to talk to.
No, I know what you mean. I know what you meant, but for the 3 seconds that you said the first thing, my brain was like, well, we're gonna die now. And then I was like, no, they meant Val. They meant. Okay.
If it's any consolation, I think I've spent between the last 2 sessions about 4 hours role playing as a immortal divorcee, and I have no idea how to do that. But here I am.
That's so
Oh,
Lewin
no,
core.
that's so wonderful. Being a divorcee is great. The problem is that no, that's like so fun.
We support.
The problem is that I've never been flirted with, so I don't know how to flirt with people.
So
But I
valid.
guess it's good because Val has no idea how to do it either.
That's fair.
Val
Flirting
has
can take different things.
his three past relationships were all accidents on his part.
Yes, King.
No, yeah,
So.
when there was that joke earlier in the session about whether I'd come over to ask Beatrix to dance, I and Archibald, my brain also like just sort of dipped out for a second. Like,
Oh no!
What?
So much dipping.
Dancing? What? Asking
Yeah.
what? Who? Oh.
But
no.
anyways,
Yeah.
speaking of Valente,
Oh dear.
for the first time since the feast is really kicked off, Gare finally steps out from behind the bar, and he is holding 2 glasses in his hand, and he wanders over to where Valente is just kind of hovering and attempts to hand you one of the glasses. It does not seem to be full of his foul soup. Whatever it is it's clear and not bubbly and possibly water.
Yeah, Val takes it and takes a sniff. Is it water?
It is water.
Yeah, okay, Val takes a good gulp of that and says, thanks.
Yeah, no problem. You look, perturbed.
I'm not great in social situations.
Yeah, me neither. That's why I've been hanging out behind the bar. You want to come back with me? Taking matters in my own hands, Dwyer.
Oh.
You know, reverse card.
Oh no! Fire!
Killed fire.
Are you okay?
I'm so fine. Don't worry
Oh,
Uh,
you have to remember that originally I wasn't gonna tell anyone about Val's crush on Gare. I was just gonna have Val be awkward, and that was gonna be the only hint I ever gave.
yeah, and then you made the mistake of telling me that. Me, who's on the other end of one of the characters involved in this conundrum.
Yeah, but I didn't think you'd care.
But I'm evil! You forgot one key fact. I'm full of evil.
This isn't evil though. This is too good for me. That's why I expected you to be like, "Oh, cool," and then we never talked about it again.
Garrett's waiting for his answer. He's invited you to come hang out behind the bar.
Val's like, I mean, yeah, sure, why not? And Val takes a suspiciously long sip of the water and doesn't look at him.
Gare meanders back towards the bar. I assume you follow him.
Yeah.
After you both get settled on like two of the stools on the other. Excuse me, my like throat. As you two get settled on two of the stools, you notice that the rest of like all of the bartenders have like dispersed. Like they're just not here anymore. Gare has this place on lockdown.
They know when they're not needed.
They know when they're not needed. You can like see a few of them like out on the dance floor, like breaking it down.
Good for them.
Good for them.
But he just kind of like keeps sliding like waters over towards you as he just continues his work silently. He doesn't say anything else.
Yeah, I think Val appreciates that. Val drinks enough water to, in his mind, counteract whatever headache he's going to get in the morning. Which isn't much. Like I said, he's
a strong boy.
He's a strong man. It was a lot of people when they freshly joined his battalion wanted to prove a point about how great they were at holding their drink against the general, and it never went well.
Oh no.
So Val's like, yeah, I'll be fine in the morning. But yeah, I think Val, yeah. My brain is about as intelligent as Val's is right now. Except Val is drunk and I'm sober.
Yeah. Gare doesn't say really anything else to you as you guys just like sit there. He does occasionally like attempt to slide like a snack over to you. Just like
Aww.
eat the oyster crackers. They help with everything.
Yes, that's so true. Val smiles at him and takes them and nibbles them quietly.
Yeah, he doesn't do anything outside of that. Alright, hold on. I have to use the bathroom. And then we're gonna get back to Edwin's adventure.
Yay.
Edwin's
Alright,
adventure.
yeah, I need a minute to figure out dinner with my sibling too, so.
Alright, everyone go take your shits. Go eat whatever. See you in 5.
Sure.
Okay.
Hello, people. I don't know if there's anyone else in the call right now. Which means,
Hello.
oh, well, shit, I was about to make a joke about me being God since Sam wasn't here, but
Oh,
we
go
can,
ahead.
we can share godhood. It's great.
Okay. Dwyer, do you want to become gods?
I am
We're,
retarded.
I mean, damn
shit.
it.
What?
Shit,
What are you
God's
guys
back.
talking about?
Everyone scatter.
What? You know, just watch back the stream.
I know, and I hope you enjoy that bit when you
Oh no,
see
I'm
it.
so scared.
Oh,
We'll wait for
don't
Trikey.
be.
Oh no.
Don't be. It's a quick bet.
They're talking mad shit.
Oh, talk shit about you behind your back. I never do that. I totally would
Say
do
it to
that.
Sam's face.
So
I
true.
totally would
I
do that.
appreciate.
If it's any consolation, I talk the same shit behind your back as I do to your face. So, you know.
Yeah, so true. So true. Alright, we'll wait until Trikey has returned. I believe I need to get another document open. Let me do that in the meantime.
Why does Trike always? Why do we always put Trike in the situation where he might fucking
I mean,
die?
Trikey put himself into this situation.
And it ends up in situations because he's a college student
Oh, so
and he
true.
asks
But-
questions.
Edwin into this situation.
Yeah, he'll be
Oh
fine.
God.
Oh, hi,
There's
Trikey.
Hi.
the
I was just
last
muted because I was talking to my sibling.
Yeah.
All good.
these sessions. This session and the last one have been so full of weird, romantic, and other kinds of tension, and I'm just like, oh God, this is so out of my life experience. I'm like dodge rolling past what I'm playing fucking Dark Souls, but it's just the conversation topics that are coming up.
Intimacy.
It's like shit.
Alright, are we ready to get back into it?
It's like, have
Yeah.
you ever thought about having a family? It's like, wow.
Well, you asked him. You saw the kid had a bunch of kids. And I was just like, well.
I know, and I was like walking like blindly into the wall in front of me, like, yes. I won't have to think about this for my character in this conversation. Why would I have to do that? That would be ridiculous. I'm bringing up how dragons had problems with like fertility and whatever. Also, yes, Shrike, thank you. I have slowly been zooming the icon in on Archibald's face.
For
That has-
I thought I
context,
just remembered Ron
yeah.
for a moment.
Andrew's Discord icon is a picture he drew of Archibald's face, and he's slowly zooming it in.
The
Yeah,
more
it's
the
very-
night goes on.
This is a very work in progress version.
I love
Very.
him. I love his just whole vibe.
Yeah, I love his
basically
little
until I
startled
finish
look.
until I finish this drawing, it's gonna be a new work in progress every week. I'm pretty sure.
Excellent.
Fair
I
enough.
am slow.
It's okay.
Uh,
It's okay. We love it regardless. All right. Are we ready?
Yeah.
All right, Trikey, you exit the dance hall to find that Godfried and his guide are nowhere to be seen, but you do find a couple of guards milling around.
Oh, can I ask them where the guys went?
Of course. They direct you down towards the back of the castle sort of area, more like the supply area. They do give you directions like, oh, you're looking for the supply room, like, oh, it's over here. And as you make your way over there, it's maybe like a 10-minute walk, and you don't actually catch up to Godfrey at any point. But you do catch him as he returns from wherever his journey took him. And at this point, he is holding what looks to be several pieces of just like wood and metal, and he is walking along the hallway as if he's on a mission. He's got places to be. He's got things to build. He doesn't seem to notice you as he like passes you by, and he's just like, I don't know this guy. Goodbye.
Edwin is like about to like say something to him, and Godfrey just like walks right past him, and Edwin is like, okay, and just goes to follow him.
Godfrey makes a beeline back to his room. It takes him a minute to like open the door up, but he's blocking the door, so even if you wanted to, you couldn't help him. But he does leave the door open once he enters, and he dumps all this like old pieces of wood and like metal and like rusty tools just like on his bed.
Oh, okay.
Are you
Edwin, I think Edwin, like, before, he doesn't go in yet, but he, like, stands outside the room and, like, kind of knocks on the door frame just in case Godfrey did have the, like, wherewithal to care about that right now.
Godfrey just kind of like looks up at you as if he's just now realizing you're there, even though you've been following him around at this point over 10 minutes probably. It's a big castle. And there's no way in hell he wouldn't have noticed you if he wasn't,
Yeah.
having a time. But he just now seems to notice you, and he looks up at you like, huh? What? Just kind of stares at
Oh,
you.
I was wondering if you want any help with what you were working on?
He looks down at all the random shit that's on his bed. And he just kind of like looks at you and he says, maybe?
Do you remember what you were working on?
He reaches into his pocket again and pulls out the napkin, which he holds in his hand, like, above his head as if he's killed something and is displaying its severed head.
What a charming guy.
He's so fucking normal. Anyways, he lets the napkin just kind of like unfurl. The plans have not smudged for whatever the fuck he wants to build.
Well, that's good. Edwin will dare to go into his room since he doesn't seem like he's going to object right now.
He doesn't tell you to get out or anything. He just kind of like he got distracted by his own like plan reveal. So now he's just kind of like looking at the napkin, and he wanders off towards the back of the room where the table is, sort of like grabbing a couple of the tools as he goes. He's getting set up, and as he finally puts the plans down, he goes over to his carrying case and he opens that up too. And usually he's not like secretive about what's inside his like travel pack. Like, you can probably guess what most of the stuff in there is, like clothes and the gun. That's the big thing that's in there.
Yeah.
But, this time he's just kind of like, he flips the lid open, stuff just kind of like falls out, and he does not pick it back up. But he's going through it. Oh, I've never actually like described what the inside of it looks like. So it's like I'm trying to find a good way to describe this. So it opens like a normal trunk, like it's on a hinge. It opens, there's two sides, and then in the middle there's another like hinge where there's a smaller trunk on the inside, and the smaller part is where you often see him take the gun parts out of. And then the outer, like, I guess, shell of the case is where he keeps literally all of his other shit. So most of it is taken up by this, just the pieces of this weapon. But he doesn't open that now. He just kind of puts that portion of it aside. Like, I don't need this. And he rummages around and he pulls out what are just like more tools that he just has. He pulls out like a really sturdy and just threatening set of pliers, and a hand saw like for cutting wood. And it seems like whatever he's gonna do, he's not gonna like go to an area where perhaps it would be a little bit cleaner. He's just gonna build something here on his bedroom floor.
Huh. I think Edwin is probably trying to clean up after him a little bit, like pick up whatever fell out of his case and stuff and put it back on the table.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, most of the stuff you pick up is just like a random shit. Like, you find like a half-used first aid kit, just like random stuff. But can you make a perception check for me, actually?
I sure can. Okay, 8.
8. You don't find anything of note among this stuff, but that's probably just because the lights are not on. Uh, you're you're both working in darkness right now.
Light
I
fucking
feel like
candle, my lord.
I feel like I noticed, I'm like, it's weirdly dark in here trying to pick this stuff up, and then I'm like, oh, I can fix that. And Edwin, like, goes to light a candle, because Godfrey could probably also use that too when he is wielding a...
I'm gonna let you have another free perception check now that the light's on.
Okay, cool. I do like checking perception. 10.
10. Oh, that's just the margin, but meets it beats it, am I right? As you're like piling shit into his case and you find like clothes and stuff, most of them seem to be clean, thank God, but you're just like, yeah, that's a shirt. I'm gonna approximately fold that into a size that could fit in there. But a couple strange little things fall out. The first one is a small, like, it's kind of like a pendant, but it's not like attached to a necklace. It's attached to like a short string. It's looks like it might be gold, but probably not. It's probably just painted. And it's like a dragon. Some sort of dragon-like symbol. And then the second kind of weird thing you find is another one of these small little pendant things, not actually attached. Attached to a necklace. Sorry, I'm like, ugh. And it's like, it kind of looks like a coat of arms, but it's not. It's distinctly not because it's handmade and it's like made of cheap wood that's like extremely dented and like crunched in the corners. But it's got like something carved into the back that you can't quite make out because it's just, this thing has been through the ringer. But it's kind of like the shape of perhaps a crest or a shield.
Could I roll history, or am I good at history? Yeah, can I roll history to see if I recognize either of these symbols?
Do them one at a time, please.
Sorry, what? I think you cut out.
Could you do them one at a time, please?
Yes. Uh, 12 for the dragon object.
12 for the dragon. Well, you're highly studious in both Arcanine, just living in Arcanea and Jugdral history. You can tell that this is a fairly standard, like, Naga holy symbol. Like, anyone who's even vaguely aware of the Church of Naga might have one of these in their house. Not necessarily that they worship Naga, just, it's a cultural thing. A lot of people use these as, like, good luck. Kind of the same way people use like crosses in modern society. Like, people who don't necessarily go to church might still have them just like in their house somewhere. But yeah, so that's like, it's not super weird. You've definitely seen these before. They look a little different where you come from, but that's what that is.
Okay. Let me try the coat of arms. 14?
14. You cannot identify the words at the back, no matter how hard you try. But, the front, does look kind of vaguely familiar. It's got kind of a sword pattern on it, but you don't entirely know exactly who this belongs to. I mean, you assume it belongs to him, but, like, you don't know what the
Yes.
symbol belongs to. Unless he stole it.
Yeah. Well, I will carefully put them back where I assume they came from in the case. I probably can't put everything exactly back where it fell from, but
He has stopped making a mess of his possessions by this point, and now he's making a mess of the stuff that the king let him have. He is well on his way through sawing through most of the pieces of wood, and as you're observing, you can see these aren't just normal pieces of wood. This is like blessed oak that the king's guard had just like given him. Or he stole it, but there was a guy with him before, so you could assume that he's allowed to have this. But he's sawing his way through this stuff, and he's like putting it together in a way that is highly reminiscent of his preferred method of attacking, but not quite. It seems he's got an idea for something similar but new.
Is he doing this like on the floor or on a
Yes,
desk?
he's on the floor.
Okay. I am curious if he is destroying the floor.
1 second. Is he destroying the floor? Let's find out.
Just because, like, when you saw something, the saw will hit the thing that it's on eventually.
Let's see. What would I roll for that?
Stone.
Maybe
Sleight
like
of hand.
Word.
Sleight of hand.
Dex.
Dex, yeah, just
Yeah.
pure skill. Alright, well, his skill is insane, and I need to take away those bonuses, actually. Give me 1 second. 0. His
He
skill is
drank
still
himself out
insane.
of the
So he rolled
bonuses.
more than a 20, so somehow, despite being absolutely blasted, he manages to not saw through the carpet. He's done
power
this
of this
before.
man.
He's done this before. Probably on his own carpet, so maybe he's alert.
Congratulations, Godfried.
But he's just like squarely ignoring you at this point. Like he doesn't even seem to realize someone else is in the room with him. He's just building.
Um, can I just watch him build? Because I am curious what it is.
Sure. I'm gonna return to the others in the group first. And then
Yeah.
we'll come back to you because he's gonna be at this for a couple hours.
Oh my god.
I'm checking in on the ballroom. Does anyone else want to do anything in here? Talk to anyone else before it's time to scoot off to bed? It's actually quite late at night at this point.
How is everyone looking? Like, of the other people who've come, not the group.
Oh,
Yeah, that's what I thought you were asking.
Oh, they're like
Sorry.
blasted. Everyone else is like, they're like falling over each other. They're like laughing, no volume control. The king still looks completely sober, but he looks like he's having a good time regardless.
Of course. Does Octavia not feel dizzy anymore?
You're mostly fine. You're just tired. Your feet still hurt.
Well, say does say the bar?
You're cutting out so bad. What?
Yeah.
Bestie.
Does she? No, I'm so sorry.
You cut out again, Bestie.
Oh
We're
no!
losing her.
No, can I?
Try again. Third time's a charm.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
It seems
Oh
okay
my-
now.
Okay, I'll try to be close. Oh gosh. I'm thinking, like, if she notices Valente and Gare still behind the bar, she's just like, yes.
Ooh, ooh.
Val gives her a look of don't.
I'm not.
Don't.
And Octavia's like, I'm just. She's slowly shaking her head, just smiling, like, nope, I'm not saying anything. I'm just looking.
And yeah, you're not saying anything, sure. Siblings are psychically communicating.
And then Octavia just gives her like a genuine, like, little thumbs up, like, yeah.
Val doesn't blush, but also they're blushing. Might be because they're drunk.
Oh
Yeah.
my.
And like smiles a little bit and then nods and looks away.
That's fair. And then Octavia also looks away. And then she looks to Archibald's like, okay, you're probably not. Actually, where's Amalthea? Before I
Amalthea
get
has
to that.
collapsed at the table near you guys. She looks totally pooped.
Yeah. Okay,
Taking a
we'll go
nap.
back to the room soon, kiddo.
She just
She
kind of
had a-
like goes like, ugh.
That's what happens when you just stick to the dance floor for near the entirety of the evening.
I'm gonna sleep for a week.
You may not give us a week, but I'll let you sleep in tomorrow. And then she
Yeah.
leans over and like gently pats her hair and makes sure that it's not in disarray.
Amalthea, as you like pat her on the head, you're not patting her very hard, but she's still like slides downwards in her chair at the just lightest touch. She's just like, I'm melting.
She's melting.
Oh no, she's melting. And then I think after that, she turns to Archibald and is like, do you want to dance?
Uh,
I can't dance
I
very well right now, so you don't have to worry about that.
sure, why not? I haven't danced in like good 1,000 years, 1,000 and a half. Let's go for it.
And
Alright.
then they go to the dance floor.
They go to the dance floor. I assume you guys aren't like trying at this point, so I'm not gonna make you make a
No.
perception roll.
Everyone else is like passing
Piss
out
out.
around us. Yeah, like
The
How-
king, out of the corner of your eye, you can see the king is just kind of. Most of the women at his table are gone at this point. You could assume small children are being taken to bed. But he's just kind of like looking at you, like one leg crossed over to the other, glass of wine in one hand, just like sipping, watching, just, vibes.
Yep. Octavia is like, after this, well, I should go to the king and say that since you guys have already. Well, did you have a good night? And I'm assuming like they're just slowly like doing the little like spin around the dance floor.
Are you going to make us dance for or roll for the dance?
No,
or...
I already said no
No.
rolling for the dance.
Yeah, no roll.
Oh, no
they're
rolling.
Just, they're
Okay,
just,
okay.
we're chill.
You're just chill vibing. You're not trying to impress anyone.
I'm
Yeah.
going to let the person who knows how to and cares about dancing do the leading, because like if there's one thing
makes-
Archibald can do, it's be a follower.
Then Octavia does take the lead in the dance.
Yeah. Perhaps it had to get in a dance where you weren't just getting spun around like a top.
Oh yeah. This is, well, it's not exactly my style, but this is much more preferable at the moment.
Yep.
All right, you guys
And
dance for a little bit.
Beatrix isn't watching, is she?
Beatrix is not here anymore. Neither is not hairdresser. Why do I keep wanting to say hairdresser? The seamstress. They're both gone.
They got places to be.
Yeah.
Wink,
Oh,
wink,
boy.
nudge, nudge.
Good for
Anyways.
them.
They're gay. They're gay. That's the point here.
I'm guessing Octavia notices and she's like, Are you okay?
Oh yeah, just making sure that. Well. No, I'm fine. It's been a hell of a. God, it's only been 2 days.
Yep. It sure has.
I
Don't
had
think
a
about it too
bag.
much.
Yeah. Oh man. We literally like live like day to day traveling, and yet somehow the last 48 hours have been the most horrifying. And somehow most relaxing also.
Well, I like that we got new clothes.
Yeah.
And based on what Beatrix said, it sounds like going forward it might be a little bit harder.
Yeah. I mean, it is the desert. It's gonna be weird. But, I mean, gotta do what we gotta do, I suppose.
Yeah. And I guess it'll be good practice for whenever we get to Valhalla.
Speaking of things we should try not to think about too much. Oh my god,
And
do you remember?
Octavia like genuinely laughs at that.
Oh god, Allus. Okay, wow, he's
Oh
out there.
god.
Yeah.
At least his father hasn't, you know.
If I ever meet his dad, I'm going to beat the shit out of him.
Good, I'll help you. He sounds like a piece of shit.
Yeah. We can get the whole gang. It'll be an event.
It'll be an event, and then we just don't tell Allus because he may not like us beating up his shitty dad.
He might. We'll see.
He might. That's true. I mean, with my shitty dad, I wouldn't like you guys to beat him up. It's more like in a magical world where I have the chance, I'd want to punch him in the face, but I don't want him to get beat up.
Is he still...
He's still alive,
Oh,
that I know of.
is that a good thing or a bad thing for you?
It just is.
My father was one of many whispers that spoke to me in my dreams before I was born and after.
What did he usually say?
Uh oh, a lot of stuff about the future of dragons, uh lost wars, duty, something, decline of the species, empire, or whatever. Basically, if you've read a history book about, or just seen anything about the wars with the Earth Dragons, you get it's a decently accurate picture, actually,
Hmm.
depressingly.
What about your mom?
Oh god, she's out there. She's out there somewhere too. I'm pretty sure. Same idea.
Oh. Wait. In the whispers or in the
No,
out?
no injury. No, I'm pretty sure that everyone, parents, grandparents, all in a under the ground somewhere, or
Yeah. Still kind of sucks that you never really got to know them.
on one hand, yes. On the other hand, they're like the babysitters we ended up with, like their followers, I guess, were pretty bad on their own. So maybe it's for the best.
Mm, that's a good point.
Eh. I mean, they played a stupid game of godhood and they lost, you know? It's not really. It's whatever.
Well, you're already making better decisions than they ever have.
One would hope. One would hope.
Yeah, that's what we always hope. We're not gonna fuck up like our parents.
Yep.
Well, thank you for dancing with me.
Was no problem. He sort of winces a little bit, like, I have no clue what the fuck I'm doing, but
We are just swaying gently, not too fast. Going there, like maybe at certain points, Octavia like gives him a little tiny spin for flourish, and they like switch the step movement. But overall, it's very calm. It's a very calm box step.
yep. Archibald goes along with it because he has no fucking idea.
If he gets like a little bit off tone, Octavia just like goes, okay, just follow me. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
very simple. And
It's like
then
it's
Sorry,
like
go ahead.
he vaguely remembers clearly. It's more just the whole like, oh, this is it's a sort of where you have a skill in life or something you learn. You're like, I'm never going to use this again, and he's like, oh,
And little do you
you,
know.
such things as bathing and wearing decent clothes and dancing. He's like, oh, everything at once tonight, huh? Okay.
I will say Octavia's like, I didn't get to say this before, but I think you look good, Archibald.
Oh, thank you. You do as well.
Thank you.
As you
And-
guys begin
Yeah, go
to wrap up your dance, you notice that the band is starting to kind of like slow down. The king gets up from his chair as you guys finish your dance, and he begins to leave.
I will say probably Octavia just walks, or as long as it's not like rushing.
No, he's just like idly like, well, looks like the party's winding down. Time to go to bed.
Yep.
Time to go sleep this off.
Octavia goes up and like does the teacher student bow again. It's like, thank you for inviting us to your lovely feast.
Of course,
Majesty.
you are wonderful guests.
I'm so glad that you think that, and I'm so glad it seems that way.
Oh,
We
are you
love-
usually not wonderful guests?
No, we're usually wonderful guests. It's just we're all weirdos.
Yeah, I
No,
like
I'm not.
weirdos.
I'm usually a prisoner, frankly.
Well, just don't do anything too illegal, and I'm sure you'll grow out of that eventually.
You saw me yesterday. You know how it goes.
Well, as long as you don't do it in my castle.
Yeah.
But I've
Um,
got things to do in the morning, so I should probably head off to bed.
hmm.
And have a good night and sleep well.
You too. Feel free to take whatever you want from the bar on your way out.
I think
The
our
pile
friend
of
Gare
like,
will-
yeah, is the pile of stuff from Gare still there?
No, his area's been thoroughly cleaned out. He is currently just like vibing. He's like kind of doing that dad thing where like hashtag a dad when he finds a couch and falls asleep in 5 minutes. Like he's kind of like folded arms sleeping on a stool.
Much appreciated. We'll see what
Val's
we can
making
find.
sure he doesn't fall off.
Yeah.
All right, is everyone ready to be done with the feast?
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to gather each other up and head back to your rooms?
Mhm.
All right. As you leave the area, you do notice something that none of you noticed when you came in, and that would be a small merchant stall in the hall outside
Okay.
of the banquet. The merchant himself seems to be like packing up, like whatever he was selling, everyone's like blasted now, so clearly no one's buying anymore. But he does notice you guys coming down the hall, and he does kind of slow down for a second as he looks at you like, are you interested in anything?
You have.
Noticing Octavia in her outfit, he smiles and he gestures towards his wares and he says, something that a beautiful maiden like you would surely love to take a look at. And you look down at the table and it does seem that this stall is completely full of jewelry from all around the continent.
Wow.
I have a number of highly sought after pieces, and then of course we have our more interesting items, and he gestures over to like a small tray full of just like a variety of peculiar looking pieces. A lot of it looks just like typical gold and silver, like yeah, they're all different styles, but they're all like fairly standard. You've definitely seen like people wearing these around. But this little tray of random shit seems to, you get a vibe from this little tray.
A good vibe.
Just a vibe, you don't know.
Emmett and Gottfried and Edwin aren't here. I think Octavia's gonna look at the vibe tray and
The
see
vibe
what's
tray?
there. Yeah.
You find a number of things. I'm just gonna list them off, and then you tell me what sounds interesting. You find a tiara that's like gold with what looks like rubies on it. That's carved to look like fire. You find a ring that looks like it's made of like white silver. That's molded to look like lace. You find earrings that are golden and like carved to look like they're maybe feathers, and they've got emeralds in them. They're very fancy, very dangly. The kind that if you turn your head too fast, you get smacked with them. You see this like chunky bracelet that's like blue, and it seems to be like made of silver and maybe sea glass. There's like animals encrusted into the sea glass, like sea animals. There's a just sturdy copper crown, with like just roughly carved runes, you would say. It doesn't look particularly well crafted in the normal sense, but it does look interesting. And then last but not least, you find a small tassel that can be like hooked onto something. It's gold and it's got like a charm on it. Looks like some sort of weird clock.
How
Octavia,
many
like,
crown? Oh,
yeah,
no,
go ahead. No, go ahead. I was gonna ask Archibald something.
Oh, I was just gonna mutter, how many fucking crowns did she say are on this fucking table? Where'd you get
There's
those,
only
Mr.
two. There's a
Merchant Man?
tiara and there's an actual crown.
Yeah.
Where'd you get crowns, Mr. Merchant Man? I don't say that as Archibald, but what sort of I guess he should say something. Where'd you get what sort of crowns are these? Are they
This one, and then he points to the one with the flames on it. He says, "This is from Lower Thracia. It's all the rage down there. It's very stylish. At least last time anyone went to Lower Thracia, which, granted, hundreds of years ago. And then this one, and then he points to the larger, sturdy crown. He says, "This comes out of Arwell."
Arwell.
Yes, Arwell, the place no one ever goes.
And how did you acquire it?
Oh, I have my people. You find things buried in the sand. Arwell is, after all, just on the edge of the Eid. Sand moves. It carries things. Don't worry, everything has been perfectly tested. None of anything I have here is cursed. It's been approved by the king. I'm here on his decree to sell to the noble ladies of the court. I would never sell anything that could hurt someone.
what color is this man's hair?
He's just got like brown hair. He's so normal. Picture npc.jpg.
I was like, this isn't like
I'm just imagining one of the villagers from Thracia.
No,
saying
yeah,
things
that's the
like,
exact Thracian villager number 4.
no, I was about to be like, is this fucking like dude Anna or something? Like, is this a dude version of Anna?
Anna, but she's wearing just like a poorly crafted fake mustache.
Or
No.
that.
Anna's
She
in the
could
world
say that.
somewhere,
Her
but
friend Jake.
I won't give her to you to her or give her to you that easily.
Is she on a map?
Maybe. Who can say?
Fuck.
I know, but
Fucking
she took
A-rules.
testosterone.
Yeah, that's
Good
what I
for-
was
good
getting
for-
at, yeah.
Good for him. Good for him.
Do any of these items appeal to you? You're welcome to try them on if you like.
I like to try on the tassel.
The tassel, I see. A good choice. Very fashionable. Those come from Valhalla, you know.
Do they?
Of course. You can affix it to whatever part of your outfit you like.
Octavia affixes it to probably just like like the upper half of one of her side sashes. Like scarves.
You don't feel any strange effect cascading over you. It just looks like a fancy little tassel thing.
How much?
Well, normally I charge 100 gold for everything, but for a lady, the first one is free.
Oh my. You're very kind, sir. What is your name?
You can call me Pierre. I'm a traveling jewel vendor.
Pierre, the traveling jewel vendor. I'm sorry, I need to make a note of that.
Perhaps you will reappear later.
Perhaps.
just like selling shit.
Yeah.
This man weirdly. This
Final
man
boss
weirdly,
introduced. No.
This guy weirdly gives me like, what is it? Is it like Saint Germain from Castlevania vibes?
Good.
Oh,
That's the vibe. Good.
And he's like,
This
I've
will cause
acquired a
no
bunch of
problems
random
whatsoever.
artifacts from mysterious places. Don't worry, they're all vetted. Totally good.
Totally.
Don't ask where I'm from.
You haven't asked where he's from.
I know.
I will. I think then at that, she's like, "Are you from around the kingdom?"
Oh yes, I was born and raised in Finbar, but I travel all up and down the eastern coast. Always looking for new things to sell.
As a merchant does.
As a merchant does. Is there anything else you would like to try on or check out? I'd love to tell you more about my products.
What else is on the table, Sam? This is a question.
You still got the fire-looking tiara, the lacy ring, the earrings, the thick blue bracelet, the sturdy crown, and a bunch of just random other nothing jewelry.
I will say Octavia. Oh wait, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say you could always ask him if any of these are magical.
Yeah, like I guess that would probably be like, are any of these imbued with magic?
Oh, I see you have an inquiring eye. Why do you think I separated them from everything else? They're all magical.
I do think that makes sense. I will say, do you know what this item here that I have chosen is most well known for across Valhalla?
That is the only item I have absolutely no idea what it does. I've put it on myself. I've tried to do things with it on. I can't seem to see any difference. But it hasn't hurt me, and I've been carrying it around for, years now. So I assume this one might just be a dud.
Archibald in his head is like, first one's free for the lady. That translates to, I found this random thing and I don't know if it's even magic, but here, take it off my hands.
As you're observing the
trust.
rest of the items, Amalthea also kind of hovers near the table like, I am a lady. First one is free for me.
Amalthea, would you like to try one on? I do have some coin.
Which one should I try?
Which one do you like the most?
I like all of them. Pick one out for me.
I will say, just because of her water blessing, I'm gonna pick the blue one with the bracelet.
The man smiles and he picks up the bracelet in much the same manner someone would pick up like a CD.
That's so great!
It's like,
yeah, I think that conveyed exactly what you wanted it to convey immediately.
Yeah. Good. And he hands it to her and he says, I think this one would be quite entertaining. They're all of these, they're all superficial effects. Nothing that'll improve a warrior's skill or harm anyone, but you know, kids do like things like this. And he hands her the bracelet and he says, well, go try it on. Amalthea holds it kind of the same way he did, but with both hands, because she's much smaller, and she just kind of looks at Octavia like, should I put it on?
Octavia does I would say maybe Octavia on her own is like, oh no, this is not. He just would she just roll like a straight magic roll?
What are you looking for?
It's more like if it's harmless, but based on the blue, if there's any elemental magic involved.
Okay, yeah, go for it.
Okay. Why am I cursed today?
Well, you put on the
natural
tassel.
One.
Natural
You
one.
put on the tassel. You put on the tassel. You're cursed now. That's how it works.
No.
No, I've been rolling.
Oh, by the way, you can add a Saint's tassel to your non-combat inventory.
The who's?
Okay.
Saint's tassel.
Okay. Saint's tassel.
Calm down, King.
The
It's a
who?
class.
This will be good for Edwin.
It's also in the non-combat inventory, which means it doesn't do shit.
It does
Yeah.
something silly and not important to combat, probably. Probably.
Well,
Okay,
we've got.
probably.
Out of
Uh,
curiosity, is there anything on here
Hold on, Amalthea's
on this?
gotta put her
Oh,
little.
right.
She's
Sorry.
still
Yeah,
holding
because
stuff.
it's like Octavia did not sense anything. She got a natural 1, so Octavia does help Amalthea put on the bracelet.
Amalthea puts on the bracelet, and there's a puff of blue smoke around her instantly. And as the smoke dissipates, you can see that Amalthea has disappeared. No,
What?
it can't be.
Oh no.
You look around and then down to the floor to see that where Amalthea was standing is now a small, round, creature with sort of like bunny-like ears and like a poofy thing on the back of it.
Beam!
What?
Slug beam!
around its middle section, it is in fact wearing the bracelet.
Octavia kneels down and is like, Amalthea?
Amalthea, the thing that might be Amalthea, looks up at you with its little dot eyes and goes, "Oh, hi!"
In Amalthea's voice.
Yeah, Amalthea's voice.
Can I take off the bracelet?
Are you asking her that? Or are you just
And
asking
then
me?
also looks at the merchant like, can I take off the bracelet?
He holds his hand out like, sure, go for it.
Octavia takes off the bracelet.
After prodding Amalthea out of the bracelet, there's another puff of blue smoke, and Amalthea is right back to where she was before, just completely fine, exactly as she was.
I turned to the merchant. So is this bracelet and a power? Is that transformation something a Polar can control, or is it a bracelet on, bracelet off sort of?
It's very much an on and off situation.
Aha.
But the kids tend to love it, so.
Well, Amalthea, do you want this one?
She looks at it and she says, kind of?
Okay. Do you want to try one more thing before you make a decision?
Sure.
Okay, someone else pick for her.
But
There's
yes,
nothing
for those
here
that were curious, that is get slugged.
Get slugged.
Get
Oh,
slugged.
amazing.
We got get
Slug.
slugged.
Is there anything that, like, this is a weird question. Not looking for something sinister this time, but it's like, he picked up a bunch of random shit. Has he got, like, anything I've seen on nobility around Jugdral in the last, like, 2,000 a year? Like, is that like, hey, that guy from that lady from Dulzel used to wear that. Where'd he get that shit?
The sturdy copper crown is vaguely familiar.
Oh, Christ, really? I was kidding.
Cheppy, this entire campaign is like, ha, joke, and Sam's like, no, no.
No,
May
come
I-
closer. I
May
am a
I-
normal arcade machine.
May I look at this? May I look at this crown here for a second?
Of course, of course. That one's a fun one.
Why, Sam?
Yeah.
What do I roll for how the hell this is familiar?
History.
Okay. I literally failed to pick up my dice. I just reached past it twice in a row. That is that's. Oh, wait. Oh, that's not bad actually. It's not good. Like a 12?
12. It is vaguely
not-
familiar. It doesn't look exactly like anything you've seen before, but like the sturdy crown style does kind of remind you of what like older Maniket civilizations used to wear. Like it's not exact, it's clearly a replica, but the vibe. Maniket vibes.
This Amalthea, would you? What does it? Hang on a minute, Amalthea. What does this? No, you know what? I feel like she might enjoy finding out. Amalthea, you want to try this one?
She takes the crown and she puts it on her head.
As I hand it to her with a flourish, I just like, well, I mean, Your Majesty.
She puts the crown on her head, and her hair is still kind of like crazy, and she's got her headband on, so it doesn't sit perfectly right. But instantly you can see that tiny scales begin to pop up all over her face, and as she opens her mouth, you can see her tongue is now forked.
Oh, that's fun.
She looks at her arms, which are also now like scaly a little bit. It's very clear that this is some sort of like illusion magic. She's not actually scaly because it kind of like flickers when she moves, like a bad hologram. But she looks at her arms and then she looks at Archibald and then she sticks her tongue out and she says, "I'm like you now."
Nice
And
wizard
there's
joke.
Archibald stands there, like,
And it's like
Yeah.
Octavia's just trying to play it off as like, oh, this is an in-group funny thing. This is an in-group funny thing.
Pierre doesn't seem to notice. It's been a long night for him.
Thank gods.
oh. It's like, Archibald's like, yeah, he like nods and smiles, but also is like, I'm not going to agree with you out loud, given where we're standing.
She takes the crown off and immediately the illusion disappears. She hands it back to Archibald.
Huh.
Well,
Fascinating.
okay, is there any more that you want to try on Amalthea, or are you making a decision?
What do you think?
I'm kind of curious to be like, could as a sea slug, could she technically use the water blessing? Or, like,
Probably.
The way that the Maniket things work is you lose all active skills, but any passive skills remain.
Oh no, for
So-
Sea Slug, it's going off the permanent effect, which is that you have a movement of 0 because you're moving, you're scuttling. You cannot use any like physical weapons like melee or a bow or anything because you don't have any limbs. But you can use all tomes and you can use all your skills, you can use all your class skills. You just have to be carried around by someone.
You can't move at all?
No,
It's a
you can
0?
move, but just at a rate that's so slow that it's basically like not moving.
It's like, okay,
You're a
you
little
get to move
snail
like
creature.
you get to move like a tile
think
every
about it,
10
Archibald.
rounds.
oh shoot, not water blessing, breathe water.
Breathe water.
I feel
Would
like
it technically work with get slugged?
Yeah, it would work with Get Slugged.
one would
Eh?
argue that she would be the best at breathing underwater because she would be both magically enchanted and a sea slug, which can already breathe underwater.
Yeah.
If she gets slugged and is put in water, does her movement increase?
I'm gonna say yes. It returns to normal.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Excellent.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, that was so loud. Then I would say, well, don't wear the bracelet regularly. That's kind of a thing. I would suggest having the bracelet on you, but if you want something as an accessory, we might want to pick something else.
I want the bracelet.
Okay, but you can only wear it in certain scenarios, okay?
That's okay. I'm gonna put it on whenever I get tired, so someone else has to carry me.
Well, you'll be a slug, so I guess that isn't bad.
That's hilarious considering Val basically openly says whenever anyone's tired they can use garlic.
Well, now
Yeah.
3 people can use garlic if one of them's a slug.
Yeah.
You can carry
Yeah,
her
it's
around
like-
in your pocket. Pocket
It's like-
daughter.
It's like Malthea.
Sam, can I
Yeah.
roll while Octavia's talking, can I roll for that tassel that she's got on?
What are you rolling?
Like one of the magics. Dark or holy? Dark
Holy.
or holy?
It would be holy.
It's called this. I
It's
know
called the
that's
It's
Saint's
called
Tassel.
Saint's Tassel.
I know, but I'm thinking about what Archibald would be racking his brain. I guess holy, sure. That is cocked.
In the meantime,
That
is
is-
someone
that
buying
is-
this for Amalthea, or...
Oh, sorry. Why am I so loud in my headphones? Goodness. I'm so
Ironically,
sorry.
when you apologized earlier for being too loud, it sounded the same. But that just speaking this time did sound louder, and I don't know why that is.
Passionate.
I don't know. the passion of it all. Octavia has enough money. She has currently 139 gold. You know what? Let's get the kid the bracelet.
Excellent.
Octavia. Yeah,
I'll
Octavia pays
cover
them to
like
go.
part of it. I've got more than that at the moment. 50-50?
You sure?
Anyone else? Yeah, sure, whatever.
Okay, then.
You can add a tide pool bangle to her non-combat inventory. When she puts it on, she gets
Okey-dokey.
slugged. Or anyone puts it on. You could put it on anyone.
Okay.
Portable.
Tide pool.
God.
Whenever Archibald gets annoying, you could just put the bangle on him and then put him in a jar.
How would that work if he's able to transform into a dragon but also turned into a slug? Which wins, Dragonstone or Slug Bracelet?
Well, you could wear the slug bracelet and then activate your dragon stone and then just become a dragon. And then when you're done, you just pop. Slug.
Can someone please put it in Google Sheets? It's a tide pool bangle. You turn into a slug.
Tide pool.
I'm trying and I'm so afraid I'm gonna delete something.
Jeppy,
got
can
it.
you do that?
The tide pool thing.
Tide pool
Amalthea?
bangle for Amalthea.
Yep.
For description, just write "get slugged, idiot."
Get slugged,
Effect:
idiot.
get slugged.
Look at afflictions, peace for more.
Alright, Pierre motions to the rest of his wares and he says, are any other of you? Is anyone else interested in anything? Before I pack up?
How much was the crown?
Everything's 100.
Everything's on. Sure, why not?
Alright. Pleasure doing business with you. Hope you get a lot of use out of that thing. It's too heavy for most of the women to wear, so no one ever buys it.
Well, your lucky day. Evening.
He hands over the... you can put, Ethnia's crown in your inventory, your non-combat inventory.
Does he say out loud that's what it's called?
No, that's what I'm telling you it's called. Actually, yeah, he does say it's called Ethnia's crown.
Archibald pauses. Looks up at him. Huh.
Octavia noticed the look and looks at Archibald like, huh.
Things that make you say,
Huh.
Huh? Is something wrong, sir?
No, just... That's an old name.
Oh, yes. Ancient goddesses of old and all that. I hope you get a lot of use out of it. It makes a hilarious party trick if you really want to scare your guests.
Yeah. Oh, that's an idea.
Anyone else want to purchase anything? I still have got these earrings, this ring, and this tiara. And all this other stuff, of course, if you're looking for something a little bit less entertaining.
Does Gare look interested? Because I think...
Does Gare look like a guy who wears jewelry? Unfortunately,
I don't
no.
know. He's probably... Sorry, what?
Unfortunately, no.
Okay.
Gare could probably get away with, like, like a manly necklace, like, a shark fang or something that you get for $5 at the beach. That's not real. But other than that, he's not into that kind of stuff.
To be fair, finding shark teeth is not hard because sharks shed their teeth very fast.
No, he would wear a fake one, though. You don't understand.
I know, I'm just saying, it makes it even funnier considering how easy it is to find shark teeth.
He does not know the difference between a real necklace and a fake one, a la a couple of sessions ago. With his macaroni art loftus.
Okay, I think Octavia can no longer afford any other items, so no.
Alright,
Nope.
we're good?
God,
Yeah.
could never afford any of this shit. So
Let it be known, around after we've both paid for Amalthea's stuff and me for my own. She's got 196 gold. She's just she's just not she's just mooching off of us.
Yeah, she is.
Don't know
'Cause
what
she's
you expected.
baby. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. She's rooching off of us.
She's
she
a
can
child
save it.
and a pirate. She wants her
Yeah.
money.
Yeah. Octavia's just like, just save that and save up for it for something in the future. And
All right. The
alright, Octavia says goodbye to Pierre and thank you for his service.
yes, he thanks you all for your purchases, and he resumes packing his things. Cutting back to the other half of the party, not half, the other two people, Mage Gang, rise up. Godfrey
Is Strikey back yet?
is
before
Trekkie
we-
back? First of all, Trekkie, are you back?
Trekie's
When-
just eating.
Trekkie,
for dinner?
are you munching?
And can he speak? Is he here? Can he speak?
I think he's here. I don't know if he
He
can
is
speak.
typing.
Just
One
one
more
more bite. Okay.
Okay.
You will have your
You
bite.
got this, legend.
Hold on, I'm gonna take a swig of water while you do that. Sorry if you heard that.
Should I
Bonk.
Boom.
continue the roleplay as we walk away?
Oh yeah,
while
go
we're
for
waiting?
it. While Trekkie's biting.
Octavia's
Is
like,
there yeah.
do
Oh.
you, do you know the name?
Well, yeah, actually, it's Ethnia is the Earth goddess, not Earth dragon. Earth goddess, like older. Same way that that Gran was like the sky god, and Ethnia the Earth goddess, and the
Mhm.
very old thing. It's interesting. All the people. You know the way that people sort of like trace their lineage back to dragons now, because dragons are gods or whatever. If I compare. You asked about my mother, and one of the few things I do know is that they used to say that we were very distantly had the blood of the goddess Ethnia from her side, me and my brother.
Oh,
It's a weird coincidence.
yeah.
This crown seems to give you a forked tongue and a scaly face, so that's not exactly I don't think great grandma's exactly running around with this thing, but interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting.
Someone out there remembers something.
All right. Trekkie, are you finished with your bite?
Yes, it
Excellent.
was very thick French toast.
Ooh, nice.
Yum yum yum.
Nope.
All right. Trekkie, you've been here for maybe or Edwin, I should say. Trekkie's in the room too. Edwin, you've been in this room for maybe 2.5 hours now. Godfrey's just kind of been in his own world, sawing, doing wrenching at things, creating something. And he does seem to be wrapping up whatever he's doing, and he does seem to be less in the silly zone at this point. He's kind of worked himself out of it. But before he can really explain to you what he's done, he's doing maybe what you assume to be the final checks on it. You've seen him do the same thing to his magic scope, where he just takes parts of it off, plays with them a little bit, and then puts them back in. He's very rough with his materials. He does not use gentle hands when it comes to checking these kind of things, so he's kind of just throwing shit at parts of it. But he sorry, yeah, I just saw the message in the chat. So he finishes up what he's doing, and he finally seems to recognize that you're in the room with him. And he's clearly extremely tired. And he just kind of looks at you, and he goes, "Oh, Edwin, oh, when did you get here?"
I've been here the whole time, actually. I guess you probably forgot. you were really out of it.
He looks at you, and then he just kind of like looks around, like, where the fuck am I? Realizes that he's in the guest room, and then puts down the thing that's like on his lap onto the table, and just kind of like gets off the floor. The thing that he has created looks remarkably like a magic scope, but it is definitely slightly different. You can see that there's more metal parts to this one. It's got like metal spikes coming out the end, which you're not entirely sure what those do. Looks kind of threatening, but that's life. And then he just kind of mumbles that he is very, very tired, and then wanders off towards the bathroom.
Oh, before he gets there, real quick, can I like pull out the piece of paper I got from the king and say, wait, real quick, before you go, this was from the king. He said to give it to you. I didn't read it or anything, so I don't know what it is.
He stops, he takes the paper from you, and then he just kind of puts it in his pocket without reading it, and he grumbles something about like, oh, I'll read it tomorrow. I'm too tired for this.
Okay, well, I just wanted to stay and make sure you didn't saw any of your fingers off or anything.
As you say this, he
but...
kind of like looks at one of his hands like, oh fuck, did I?
But you seem to be okay. So, I'll just go since I know you don't really want people in your room. Bye.
He just kind of like watches you leave, like, oh, okay, goodbye. And then he goes into the bathroom to do whatever he needs to do before it's time to sleep. All right, are all of you guys going to bed?
Yes.
I mean, unless
will-
you've got something else for us to do.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I will pop in and briefly make sure that Edwin and Godfrey are both alive and still have all their limbs, but yeah. That's not even role play worthy, just a
Mission
hey, you
success.
good. Yeah.
All right, everyone goes off to sleep. Just let me quickly make some rolls. 1 second. All right, and you all sleep soundly for the night. The alcohol does its good work.
Damn.
You all are perfectly fine. Do you want to get, hold on. I have the next thing Klaus is going to do is he's going to explain the mission ahead to you guys. Do you want that now, or do you want that at the start of the next session?
I think start of the next session.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah, that's probably smart.
Sounds good. All right, give me 1 second to update those supports, and I will.
I can't believe Rand guessed Archibald, part of Archibald's backstory from a plot detail I did not mean to include in the playlist.
It happens, bro. I just
Whoopsie.
I don't know what happened. I feel like
I saw it. I was like, wait. I only wrote that detail after I made the playlist. How could oh God!
It makes
Brandon's psychic.
Oh, I'll put this in the chat too. Hold on.
Yeah, I was gonna say I have to zoom in on my little phone screen.
Yeah, it's like I can't quite see.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's
Congrats!
Valgair jump scare.
Valgair jump scare. A lot of things got shifted around for this one.
And oh my god, Trikey!
What? Hold on, I'm trying to look through all the numbers. Letters, they're letters. Don't listen to me.
oh my God!
Nice!
Tracy, what the fuck?
The reward for respecting Godfrey's boundaries is that he likes you. Who would have thought?
Who would have thought?
Who
You
would've
sat
thunk it?
silently in the room while he built something. That's literally like the best possible kind of relationship he can
Yeah.
imagine with another person.
That's so funny.
Also, God is
Relatable.
no longer at F with himself.
He got over it.
Yay!
Oh. Oh.
The magic of
Godfrey
Garrett's
did-
special sauce.
No, Godfrey did, here's my theory. Godfrey did something stupid while he was in the bathroom and was so embarrassed he decided to hate himself over it for like a day.
A little sleep
You
will
know-
cure that kind of
You
Yeah,
you
you
know
know?
what? Gare was right. That alcohol he was mixing was magic. It's like, hey, you're looking like you're having a rough time. Try this. Okay. Wakes up with like a fucking C support with himself. Like, what the?
I'm trying to remember what else got changed.
I don't think Beatrix changed at all.
Beatrix is simply vibing.
Oh,
Beatrix-
guys, look at Gottfried and Klaus.
What?
Look.
That-
Wait.
Wait,
He
what?
likes the man that builds things, guys.
Wait.
Klaus is
Klaus looked at
Godfrey's
our group and
cool,
was like,
and
"You're
then
the
Godfrey
weirdest."
fucking hates Klaus.
Wait. What is he?
This is so
Oh!
funny.
I can't
Whoa!
wait to see
Hey, Sam.
the
Yeah.
Klaus's favorite
Yeah, what's
weirdo.
up?
Where's Beatrix's girlfriend? Fucking.
She doesn't have art, and therefore she doesn't have a support, but she's at a solid, like, B with all of you. Like, fine.
Yay!
She's like, she's just like generic nice lady. Like, she's just nice. If you're nice to her, she's nice to you.
Love that.
God.
Love that.
But yeah. So much happened. Does anyone have any fuck, my hair tie. Alright, I'll find that later.
This is at the very, very beginning of the session, like the first thing that happened, but I'm just like, wait, did Gare call Octavia kiddo?
Yes.
Perhaps.
Wow.
He's like old. Like, he's old
Yeah.
enough to be your dad.
Yeah, that's so weird to think about.
He's in
It
his
really
like
is.
mid-50s.
Yeah. It's just funny because it's like, well, I call
Maybe he is your dad. Who knows? No.
No. No, we
Plot
already
twist.
know not her dad.
When Sam is saying what he's saying, I hear all of his voice lines as David Hayter. In my
Good!
head, like,
Because
Yeah, that's.
Good.
I think that's
that's what I call
intentional.
her Colonel.
Yeah.
Archibald.
Amalthea actually sounds basically like Sam.
Fuck you.
What? Amalthea?
No, it's so true though.
The young anime girl sounds like Sam? Shocker. Really?
So true.
What
I-
does Godfrey even sound like?
Godfrey is just me trying my very, very best not to do a New Jersey accent. Just like, I cannot think of a
Vibes.
voice for Godfrey, so he is just nebulous
What about-
voice.
Wait, let me think of something. I'm thinking of
Thinking of
something.
something?
It'd be so funny. Does he sound like Steve Buscemi?
I don't know who he sounds like, but I know who that is.
Oh God! Really? Oh, what if he? Oh, wait! What if he sounds like Gilbert Gottfried?
Oh no!
Bad.
No, bad ending. Bad ending.
Bad.
It is. That'd be a bad ending. Is that? Oh yeah.
I
Oh.
feel like that would just make everything a little bit more terrifying, to be quite honest. Just like 2%.
I need some building supply.
Okay, I'm just saying. I declare that Gottfried sounds like a more stressed, Grimoire Vice.
He's British.
Liam
Oh god.
It's Liam
Brand
O'Brien.
British, my NPC.
It's Liam O'Brien. Okay.
Unfortunately, I have also been thinking of British actors the whole time when trying to think of a Godfried voice.
I'm
he's
so
not
mad because I
posh.
like play every game on mute or like really low volume, so I don't know what any voice actors sound like. If you ask me to, if you put a gun to my head and ask me who a voice actor was, I'd say I have no clue.
That's so funny.
That's fair.
In retrospect,
listen-
You know what? You know what I just realized?
What?
What?
Edwin would fit into Mark P. Whitten's like character type in Fire Emblem.
Little guy? Just a little guy?
No, like it's not even little guy because Creed is huge, but it's just like
He's like a little guy
Nerd.
though, like
Said it!
spiritually.
He plays Senate.
he's
Okay,
just
Seth
kinda
isn't
like
a little
it's like
guy, but
it's like weird nerds affection.
Weird nerds. Yeah, weird nerds.
Creed has a
affectionate.
whole line about how holding hands is like warm because he's naturally cold. Zenith is
Aw.
Zenith writes
Zenith.
history books because he's a nerd, and then Leon.
Leon. Oh my god. Chubby, what were you saying?
Oh god, what was I saying? Oh, there was an alternate universe out there that I decided not to do because it's a Twitch stream where I did do just a shitty Irish accent for
God.
I thought it would be funny.
Oh boy.
I thought it'd be a bit entertaining to do, but it
That'd be a lot to keep up.
Next time,
actually
if you die.
no, you'd be surprised, Samantha.
No, he's done this for entire D&D campaigns before, like for hours at a time. He can just
Whoa.
do
Oh my
that.
God.
Yeah,
He does it
I've done
often.
I mean,
I spent
we all
about
watched me accidentally give Air a southern accent. 'cause
Yes.
I
No,
did,
yeah,
and then I did
I-
that the whole time.
in preparation for a D&D campaign in sophomore year, I spent an entire summer talking to my dog exclusively in an Irish accent, and I have been basically doing it out of habit ever since. Like I was sort of singing sea shanties in an Irish accent to the dog today. It was pretty stupid.
Excellent, excellent. Well, when Archibald finally dies,
He'll
I
be
hope
reborn as an Irishman.
he will be Irish, yeah. That's how it works, right?
I was like, oh, he's green. It's like, but no. Alas, it was not to be this time.
Next time. There will always be a next time. But anyways, does anyone have any other questions, comments, or concerns?
No, for once, actually, I'm not deeply concerned about anything leaving this session.
This was a fun session.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
It's
Wow.
always fun, but this was like fun without the anxiety.
I'm glad, because this is going to be the last session where there's no anxiety.
Fair.
That I can
Damn
almost
it.
guarantee.
Yeah.
Aside
Government
from
assigned
maybe-
anxiety.
Aside from maybe, like, the final session, like the wrap-up, the everyone tell us where are they now? That might not be stressful, but from now onwards, expect me to actively be running at your ankles with a knife at every moment I can possibly find, emotionally, physically, and in the game too.
Great.
Fun.
Anyways, thank you all so much for playing. It's always a joy.
Thank you for
Yeah,
Yeah,
having
thank you for
us.
DMing.
Yeehaw.
Yeah.
All right, have a good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good.
Yeah.